We ready, everybody? We ready? Today is the Zehaha stream. Yo.
Oh, amazing.
Happy belated birthday, people are saying.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Thank you, Red Potato. Yeah, unfortunately, I couldn't find a red shirt at the thrift stores I've been looking at, but he wore a white shirt in the first appearance. It's a mix of the marine furred and Jaya designs. Oh, I am thrilled about this one. I've been looking forward to this one. I've been planning this one, and what's crazy is my plan is now the first third of what I think we're going to talk about, because last week we came to some crazy conclusions.
Yeah, we really did. Thank you, everyone, for these amazing belated birthdays. I'm not going to lie to you. I was pretty sick on my birthday, as you all know. So friends were pretty awesome to me. We had a great dinner out. I didn't get to have cherry pie, but I did get to have creme brulee.
It's truly tragic that you didn't get cherry pie, but I'm glad you got to have creme brulee. But also, the cherry pie might have been the worst thing you've ever tasted, so maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah, or the best. You never know.
That is the thing about cherry pie, isn't it?
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Soft tear of muscle? Good God, man.
Oh, no.
Yeah, creme brulee is top tier. Oh, am I a little quiet? I can turn myself up.
Here, I'll turn you up. That way we're not doing any extra. I'm just trying to balance. Actually, let's talk for a second. I'll try to balance our audio.
Do you want me to sing my song I wrote we
usually
do for
sing me a song, oh piano man.
No, I'm not going to sing you that song. Not everyone wants to hear my really interesting version of I'm a Little Teapot. How is it, guys? Am I still quiet, or did Drock turn me up enough?
I did turn you up. The enough is the question.
Yeah. I'm a Little Teapot is the song that we sing. I like to sing it in a really special way.
Snappy
kind of like a gritty blues song.
Snappy Garchomp subbed a tier 2 sub so that they could say, what is this? Cherry pie, more like stinky dumb pie? Absolutely got him. Hashtag got him. Hype trains email are just a sign of how much hype there is. It gives everyone hype train emotes they can use for the stream and basically indicates how hype today's content is. And let me tell you, regardless of what the train says, today's content is hype because we are about to unravel. All of the doubters are about to change their mind, as I am going to start this with the most contentious sentence I could. Blackbeard is intelligent and brave. Now, here's the thing. Everyone needs to make these crazy dumb theories trying to justify what this man's deal is, being like how he sometimes is a coward and he sometimes does smart things, he sometimes does dumb things and he runs away but he seems brave. It doesn't make sense, and they come up with theories to justify it. No, it's so simple. It's so ungodly simple. If you are smart, you will sometimes do cowardly things. If you are brave, you will sometimes do dumb things. Blackbeard is a character who is exemplified by the balance of intelligence and cunning and bravery. Now, if his only path to victory is high risk, go in, take hits, win a fight, he will always do it. However, if there isn't much to gain from a fight, he just doesn't. There is just no reason for this man to fight if there's nothing to gain, because he is intelligent. He thinks things through. Yeah, people are saying a brave coward. I don't even think he's a coward, because he's willing to take hits. He's willing to get beat up. There is never a moment where he takes a hit, screams in pain, and goes, damn, this was a bad choice. He's like, yeah, that's how you win some, you lose some. The running away.
Yeah, and it's interesting because people see him as not brave, and yet he sucked in all of the fire of Ace was burning from the inside and still carried on because he knew in the end he could win. So he's willing to take heavy hits and be brave and stand up to things when the time is right. But he's not going to do it if there's no winning in the outcome.
Not just no winning, but nothing to gain, no winning, especially. He flees from Marineford after sealing the fruit. Why? what does he gain from standing and fighting? Truly, at that point, what's the benefit? He's done everything he needs to. It would be incredible risk, no reward. Man leaves. But he's willing to take on Ace, even though he's getting shredded, because there's something to gain. He needs to become a warlord for his plans to come to fruition. They're pretty consistently, him running away is never like, oh, he's so terrified he's running away. It's exclusively in situations where he already has what he wants, or there's just no reason to stick around. He's found the right outcome.
Which is fascinating, because even Yeti Cool Brother says here, like, he only fights when he knows that he's going to win, like a true villain. And I think it's interesting that people have this strange perspective of Blackbeard, because that literally is most villains, like good ones. Good villains aren't like, let me sit here and let Batman punch me in the face.
But I don't even think he only fights when he knows he's going to win either. Like he says as much to Ace when he's fighting him that I don't really think he knows the outcome. And he takes on Magellan, even though he gets absolutely destroyed. I just think he'll take something on, even if he's in over his head, if it's the only path to get what he wants. Like,
yeah,
there is no way to become a warlord without turning in a dangerous pirate to the world government. He needs to fight Ace for that, and Ace is going to hunt him down, so he takes him on. He doesn't try to run. This is necessary for his plan. He's decided Whitebeard's fruit is part of his plan, so he's willing to fight the injured Whitebeard. I don't think he was 100% sure he was going to survive everything that was dished out to him in Marineford, but it got him what he wants. I genuinely think he will do a fight where he doesn't know he'll win the same way Luffy will, if it's the path to victory. If it's, he calculates risk and reward.
People see it as cowardly when he runs away rather than seeing it as intelligence. Like, one of the number one things in the art of war is knowing when to retreat. Like, one of the most intelligent things you can do as a leader is say, like, oh yeah, we're going to give it our all. We're going to, oh shit, no, we're going to lose. Run away and live another day.
You know what? I'm actually going to bring something up that's going to make all the Americans in chat, first of all, furious, and second of all, start to understand what makes Blackbeard great. There is a general in history who was despised by the British military and held in contempt, and his name was George Washington. And the reason for that was Georgie Boy had a strategy where if he didn't have the ideal outcome, likely would flee. He would retreat. So his win ratio was incredibly, incredibly low. The rate of battles he won compared to lost was incredibly, incredibly low. But if you instead calculated by how much he cost his military versus how much he gained, he was one of the best generals in England. And then in the US War for Independence was still just as good, because his retreats were always expedient and well managed and cost very little, and his victories were crushing, devastating victories to his enemies. I think Blackbeard is genuinely a George Washington style fighter, where his victories are immense and his retreats and defeats are costless.
Yeah, I would agree. I think that's fascinating too, that you're making him as a George Washington, because there's other Georges that you could have used, other generals that I can think of that ran away quite happily, especially in World War II. A lot of transfer back and forth in territories. But it's also the same thing with the French. Could we only look at the French in the one aspect of World War II and don't think about how many times the French were like, this isn't a beatable fight and we're not going to win it, so we need to move away. And it got them a bad reputation rather than seeing the fact that they were able to come back again and continue to fight.
Lower the notification volume a bit? Well, we already did, but I can lower it even more. Let's do
Interesting.
that for a
I'm
second.
not hearing notifications today.
I
changed. Oh yeah, I turned off the thing.
Look,
that's because
stick around, person who showed up just to say Blackbeard's a bitch. Here's the thing. Evil George Washington, I don't think that's the exact right way. Hannibal, too. Hannibal is actually a really good comparison of another person whose win ratio was very, very low, but who accomplished insane amounts, because when he won, it tended to be devastating, and when he fled, it tended to cost him almost nothing, and often costed the people who won more than it cost him. Knowing how to retreat is really, really, really powerful. And
yeah, absolutely.
And that's genuinely how Blackbeard fights. Mom would like the Romans versus Hannibal. Mama's a history person. She knows about Hannibal. We don't need to teach Mom about Hannibal. Don't you worry.
No, we're good.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
There's all sorts of times. It's not just George Washington and his escape from York, and you had like Ally evacuation of Gallipoli. You have Dunkirk. You have tons of different places in history where the very best thing that people could do was leave and run and come back. And it's actually part of good fighting. Roman Empire, yeah.
Yeah.
There's tons of times.
And I think that's what makes Blackbeard so compelling to me as a villain, is what he says to Bellamy, what he says or about Bellamy to Luffy, about you're in the right for not caring what those small fry think. Reputation matters so much less than results to this man. He doesn't care that he looks like a coward for running away when he has nothing to gain. He cares about winning. He cares about, in the long term, getting what he wants. And that's something I want to get into as we move into the title of this video that you've clicked on. You've clicked on the thumbnail and been like, this guy's claiming Blackbeard is fiction's greatest schemer. Blackbeard, the guy who seems like an idiot, who munches on cherry pie. Yes, he is fiction's greatest schemer. I remember listening to a conversation on the Cracked podcast, and it was with a guy who was renowned in the CIA as one of the world's best hostage negotiators. And he explained something that I think is something everyone should take in their daily life. The worst thing you can do in a negotiation is come in with a clear idea of what you want. You should never come in knowing what it is you need to get. It makes you exploitable, but also it removes something in a negotiation that is incredibly important. The ability to pivot and notice a better opportunity. Blackbeard's plans aren't meticulously laid piles of dominoes, where if one piece is pulled out of the place, if one piece is removed from position where he's put it to achieve his victory, everything falls apart. Let's talk about another scheming character, Crocodile. Crocodile did have contingencies, but his plan was a meticulously laid, slow building plan where if something goes wrong, it starts to fall apart. Everything was lined up perfectly, and he was great at arranging it, but I don't think he's anywhere near as good of a schemer because he doesn't look for better options and opportunities. He wasn't on the pivot looking for better ways to get access to the poneglyph by stealth or subterfuge. He was so stuck in the way that he thought he could achieve it that there wasn't a thought of alternate win conditions and adaptability. Blackbeard knows he needs to become a warlord. He needs access to Impel down, and he needs to be a warlord to do that safely. So that's his plan, right? If he had have had another path to victory into the prison, he would have taken it probably. So he finds Luffy and says, hey, this guy defeated a warlord. It'll make me look like a warlord power threat if I can defeat him and bring him into the government. He fails, Luffy gets away. Oh, too bad. Ace comes to hunt him. He goes, hey, I think you're a valuable member of my crew if you want to join. Ace is like, no, I want to kill you for killing Thatch. Teach goes, well, you fit the bill of what I want too. A pirate powerful enough that I can become a warlord if I hand you in. He gets Ace. This creates a war that wasn't part of Blackbeard's plan, and he wheels, he pivots, he understands I have an opportunity here to steal Whitebeard's fruit ahead of schedule, to get access to power, create a power vacuum, guarantee he dies way before I otherwise could. I can create this incredible opportunity. He's the perfect schemer because he has plans, he's willing to carefully lay them out, but if a better opportunity presents itself, he will pivot, he will switch, he will follow. He's a hyena in that he's an opportunist and a scavenger, but has the bite to back it up and protect his quarry.
Are you editing this one?
This one, I'm not going to be editing, but I'm going to wait until we have our cloud editing set up because I want Cricket and Lav to work together on this one to make it as good as possible.
It's really important that if Cricket and Lav are working on this, that every time you say pivot, that we put the Friends thing on with Ross pivoting at least once.
You know what's funny is I've never seen Friends.
Oh my God. You're so, the pivot is all you right now, baby. It's all you. It's interesting too, because Blackbeard, you're right, is doing the exact right thing. You create a direction that you're aiming towards. You say, this is our aim, but you don't shoot in a straight line. You're never going to make a straight line. You don't know what's going to come up in the way. You have to be willing to come against obstacles and then say to yourself, like, it's only a shite general is going to say, like, this is what's going to happen and this is the entire plan. And then you get there, it doesn't work the way that you need it to, and you don't even know what to do. Whereas you have somebody who's nimble and able to switch really easily. And on a very low and weird level, I think that his stupid /wrap together logs really shows that. It's like the boat could break apart at any time, but it could also be wrapped back together and put back into the ocean, or another log off the shore. Like, it has that pivoting feeling of like, we're just going along for the ride, baby, and we're following our will. But if things fall to shit, then we pivot and switch, and we'll.
Yeah.
All we need to know is that in the end,
Oh no, guys, what is happening? I've turned off Mama Drog's volume until she reconnects. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. Let's bring her back up. Let's bring her back up. All right, I'm gonna try to fix the problem now. Oh, is she back? Hey, are you there? Oh, shit. Okay. No. No. I'm gonna leave and yeah, maybe this'll... I'm trying to fix it. I've muted Mama so that we can fix it. Dude, you are just, no, you can't be in here like this. You can't. Okay, we're trying to fix it. Okay, I'm gonna call her. So your mic is just shouting, I'm over and over again. I beatboxed to it for a while. It was very funny, but every time you rejoin, it's doing the same thing.
Yeah, I guess I'll try a different mic.
I think you gotta try a different mic, and we'll see if next time it works, or maybe you have to restart your thing. We'll see what happens.
I don't understand.
Yeah, and if that doesn't work, maybe we'll just try the stream hangout chat, and hopefully that one works. Oh man, it's supposed to be a discussion. Okay, I'll do my bit for a bit. Okay. All right. I'll see you in a sec. we'll get this fixed. Bye. Oh, I don't know the exact time and date she started reading One Piece, but it was just a couple. Okay, so she read a little bit a long time ago and then dropped it. She started reading it seriously a little bit before our first stream. Okay, everybody. She's going to try to fix that. I'm going to keep going with my discussion. So, Blackbeard is willing to pivot. He's willing to adjust. He's willing to be an opportunist and notice what he has as opportunities. So I genuinely believe that makes him a better schemer than anyone I've seen in fiction. It's so cheap and easy and basic to write an intelligent character by having the villain or the hero do something where they're like, oh, thank you for this gifted subs, Parker Scott. That's amazing. Thank you so much. It's so easy to be lazy in writing an intelligent scheming character where you have them just always have a contingency and be like, well, I predicted this would happen. This was all part of my great scheme. And you just have them always know what's happening. Lazy and dumb. Blackbeard, you watch him watch things happen that he couldn't possibly have predicted and yet come up with a way to turn it to his advantage over and over and over again. My opinion, way more impressive of an intelligent character to be able to adapt to things that he couldn't possibly be ready for and find the win condition, to constantly be on the lookout for the right thing to do, to walk away with the W. That's Blackbeard. That's why he's a threat of a villain, because every single time something happens that in theory he couldn't be ready for, he finds a win condition and a way to turn it to his advantage, and you watch him do it in real time. That's fantastic. Blackbeard knows stuff. That's the only advantage he has? No, Saraza. He has far more of an advantage than that, and we will get to it. In fact, I want to wait for Mama to talk about something. So you're the person who came here to say Blackbeard sucks, and I gotta tell you, let's talk about the advantages he has. This is a man who's aiming for the top. Inherently, he has an advantage over most pirates because he wants to be king and knows what that means. He's introduced as a character who is the only person who can understand that Luffy won with Bellamy without ever throwing a punch. Oh, Mom, are you there? You've shown up. Can you talk? Let's see this. Your sound sounds fine.
Yeah, but I have to do my settings.
Okay, well, I've made you audible to everybody again.
Bad drop. I'll go mute.
Okay. Hopefully she'll be back soon. She lives. That was fun, the beatboxing, Mel. Blackbeard is aiming for the top. He's a character of pure ambition. He's an animal of want and greed, ambition, and drive. He is always willing to do everything it takes to get what he wants. He's willing to fucking kill Thatch to steal his fruit. And you can tell it wasn't personal. He had no ill feelings to Thatch. It was just because it was what he needs, because he knows that the path to the top is going to require doing everything he can. Blackbeard, actually, Mama can hear me now, so I'm willing to get into this. I'm willing to get into this bit that I wanted to save, all right? Yeah, there was no way to know Shiryu was put in there. He just knew the most powerful people were in Impel Down. We'll get to why that matters in a little bit. Here's why people need to stop underrating Blackbeard. This story, every story, exists to tell you why the protagonist is good. Every piece of fiction that has a hero in it exists so that you can be told this is the sort of person who is worthwhile and good and important. Blackbeard is a character with dozens of parallel traits to Luffy. When a villain is this reflective of a hero, you can't not take them seriously, because the series is meant to tell you that the hero or the villains who are most like our hero are the ones with the most potential. That's just inherently how fiction works, by the fact that it exists to tell you that the hero is a great person. Blackbeard is more similar to Luffy than any other villain in the series, and because of that, he is being instructed to us to be the second best pirate. The series exists to tell us... Oh, did someone doing it? Did someone delete? Oh, hell yeah. Let's get this better. Let's go hard. The series exists to tell us that Luffy is the best pirate. And by doing so, it must exist to tell us that Blackbeard is the second best pirate. And what I think is worth noting about that is that means that everything that they have in common, everything Luffy and Blackbeard have in common, can be read as the reasons that Luffy is a special person in the world. That's everything they have in common. Everything that they have as differences are the things that make Luffy exceptionally special, because those are the things that are meant to tell us make Luffy even better than someone like Blackbeard. Pet the boy and give a treat? Hell yeah. Original Blackbeard fell into a black hole. He did. My boy, come up here. Who's so excited? What an excited
I thought we
boy.
had a camera for him.
So the camera's for just if he gets pets. If he just gets pets, he has a dog cam now. But if he gets treats, he still gets to hop up in the lap.
Well, I'm back. Let me know if I start talking about what I am again.
Mama's back, everybody. All right. So the series exists to tell us the protagonist is the best kind of person. That's just true of fiction, which means a character who's a dark reflection exists to tell you this is the villain who you should be most worried about. That's what Blackbeard is. He is the villain most akin to Luffy. People see him be a silly joke, a dumbass, and say, oh, that means I don't have to take him seriously and everything is because of luck or whatever. No, he's a silly dumbass to tell you, take this motherfucker seriously because he's like Luffy in some way. Him having something in common with Luffy is Oda's way of telling you, watch out, this is a big deal.
Yeah, there's a quote by, it's either by Oscar Wilde or George Bernard Shaw. People keep going back and forth on it, but that's besides the point. But the quote is if you need to tell somebody the truth, make them laugh or they'll kill you.
I like it.
And so it makes me think about this type of idea is that Oda uses, I think, and we'll talk about that later, this entire manga as a truth, as a vehicle of truth, and makes people laugh the entire way through, which is a traditional thing in Japanese history. So I kind of think about that with this character, that he's the type of person who does absolutely ridiculous things, but while he's doing them, what he's actually delivering is terrifying.
Exactly. So let's talk a little bit about what Luffy and Blackbeard have in common. I think I actually want to go right into how they see people, because I think that immediately is why Blackbeard is a better threat, a bigger force of havoc and danger in the world than any other figure. Because fundamentally, Blackbeard and Luffy treat people as a resource in a way that nobody else does. Now, for Luffy, people are treated as a resource because they matter to him. It's not because he sees them as a pragmatic tool to be used, whereas Blackbeard does. But that's not really any different than a lot of people, right? A lot of people in One Piece care about their crew. Don Krieg brags about his fleet. Whitebeard has his great grand fleet of people who follow him. Buggy sees the Impel down prisoners he frees as being important. So you'd think that's not different at all. But here's the thing about One Piece. One Piece is a world where personal drive and ambition are embodied in the form of haki as an actual force of power. When you exist as a figure like Whitebeard, where the way you have your crew is to have them be broken down into knowing that you care about them and are a good man who deserves to be fought for, you are weakening your crew. Ace's flashback does end with Ace loving Whitebeard. However, it is a process of removing Ace's drive to conquer the world for himself and instead want to help Whitebeard conquer the world. Blackbeard and Luffy inspire personal motivation in people. They want a crew who are self-motivated, have their own ambitions, because that is the source of power and competency in the world of One Piece. Why is Blackbeard's big ambition to break into Impel down? It's because that's where the world's most dangerous prisoners are. He makes an entire plan to get in there. He gets to where the most dangerous people are, and he says, you're in here for a reason. Do you want to get out there and keep doing what you want? Do you want to exercise your will upon the world? Do you have ambitions that are unsettled? I am the one who can hand you your freedom, fight to the death, and the strong who survive will get to carry on their ambition and survive longer. He goes out of his way to find people who are committed, hardened criminals and tells them, fight to live, I hold your freedom. Now, why that inherently makes Luffy better is because he, as Mama Draka's pointed out, actually, do you want to talk about how Luffy gives people their freedom? Let's take a turn with that.
Well, yeah, no. Are you talking about philosophically or just practically?
About you've something you said before that Luffy always makes people a part of gaining their freedom.
Yeah. So over and over again, whenever I'm reading the different parts, it isn't like a normal one. A lot of times when you have a hero character, they come in and they free people, and then people are like, yay, now I'm free and I have to rethink my life and I have to like think about who I am now. And that's never the case with Luffy, because Luffy makes sure that people have to be agents in their own freeing. So if you think about everything from like Robin, when she was sitting there and he's like, tell me you want to live, like you need to actually say it and believe it. You need to actually be a part of this. And he does it over and over again with every single character that he comes to. There's always this moment of, I'm sorry, you're going to have to be a part of this. You're going to either have to help fight. You're going to have to admit you want to be a part of it. He made Nami ask for help. He makes sure that every single person that he helps is actually an agent within that helping, because he understands that free will and being a part of the help is the only way that it's real change. Whereas Blackbeard doesn't give a shit what happens to the person on the other side. He is just seeing people as a tool to be used, and he wants the strongest possible person, but he doesn't think about the personal relationship that happens. The only kind of weird, Lafitte has kind of like a thing with him where there's some personal accountability, but I'm sure that even Lafitte would feel that in the end, if his goals could become more important than Blackbeard's goals, easy.
Yeah.
Whereas in Luffy's case, we saw that Zoro, because of the way that Luffy has a way of making people feel like they are treasure, and treasure is so important, and I haven't even brought that up since, God, almost the beginning, and the people feel like they themselves are treasure, they're willing, just like Zoro was, to give up their own end goals in order to meet Luffy's, because that's how much he pulls them into his world. He makes them feel so special and so treasured that they're willing to help him out in a very, very different way.
Exactly. Now, I still think it's worth noting that the fact that Blackbeard has a small crew went out of his way to get people who are independently dangerous enough to be in the lower levels of Impel down, and made it so that they needed to want to be free enough to fight to survive. He clearly understands that personal drive, ambition, wanting something makes you a powerful asset. He really does understand personal ambition is power in this world, and he wants people with that. But he doesn't care about helping them. He doesn't care about them as people. He doesn't see the people he collects as his valued friends. He doesn't go out of his way to be like, which of you do I like? It's which of you are strong enough to exercise your will and earn your freedom from me. And instead of making them a part of their freedom, he sells it to them at cost. He says, I am the deliverer of your freedom. Pay for it in blood.
Yeah, and we see it as two different types of freedom. Like I was running around trying to do stuff and quit being who I am. But have you talked about how we just see it as different types of freedom?
So I haven't yet. I think I want to close out on talking about the forms of liberty, because I think it's a good closing piece to go out on. So I think we should, if you want to talk about them as hedonists, we can go into that if you want, unless we have another segue we like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's interesting because I don't even know now. I've kind of told you, like, I'm not sure if I would call him a hedonist anymore,
Really?
but I also kind of would. Yeah.
Do you want to go into that?
Well, because there's an idea in philosophy of egoism, and it's the theory that yourself should be your full motivation of your actions, and that.
Wait. I know we just started, but are you all right if we come back to this in a sec? Because Red Potato pointed something out that I wanted to get to in this segment of the video.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, editors, ignore this part. We'll come back to it. Don't worry. So Red Potato got at their favorite moment being Blackbeard getting wrecked by Magellan. I actually like it too, because it shows Blackbeard's advantage isn't information, because he didn't know shit. If he knew Magellan was in there, there'd have to be some sort of plan to survive this bastard, and he didn't have anything. And he does this big preamble speech, and Magellan's just so down to business, he doesn't give a shit, and is like, I don't have time, and attacks him before Blackbeard can even finish his speech about destiny and fate and whatever bullshit he's gonna go on about the way he always does. Just blasts him,
Which I adored.
One-shots him, the same way he does Luffy. No effort, no threat. Now, we talked about this in the Impel Down video, but if people haven't seen it and are watching this on YouTube, I need to say, people say it's pure luck that Blackbeard gets saved there and it feels like an ass pull. No, he gets saved in literally the exact same way Luffy does. In the way that they see people as an asset, they are saved. Luffy will give everything for his friends and to preserve their life and their will. So he inspires that in Bon Clay. He sees someone who will do anything for those he cares about, and he risks his life to save Luffy. Blackbeard is found by another powerful, ambitious person who sees the pragmatic value in a man with the power to break in and out of Impel Down as his one ticket out of here, and says, I'm going to save you if you get me out. Blackbeard is saved by the way he sees people in the exact same way Luffy is saved by how he sees people. Both of them are saved by them coming up with courses of action, whether it's a scheme or an impulse, that involve bringing out other people as an asset. For Blackbeard, the asset is a tool. It is a utility. Shiryu sees him as a pure resource, and he sees Shiryu as a pure resource. And for Luffy, it's friendship, loyalty, and respect. But Blackbeard is saved by his ambition and how he treats people the exact same way Luffy is. Because Blackbeard isn't a character who doesn't care about people. He's a character who doesn't care about people personally. He absolutely cares about other people as a resource, asset, and as something to rely on. Because he wouldn't come up with a plan that's exclusively to get a powerful crew of driven people if he didn't.
You gotta start to wonder, like, how much of that is because of their way that they were raised. Like, when you think about the way that Red Hair Shanks showed Luffy right away that friendship is the center of all things. Mm-hmm. So Blackbeard got the other lesson that Red Hair Shanks first gave Luffy, in the idea that you don't need to always show your strength to be the winner.
Yep.
And then you wonder, like, what kind of backstory does Blackbeard have? Mm-hmm. I don't know if we see Blackbeard's backstory, and I hope we do.
This is all based off of Marineford level info, by the way.
Post-war level info. And I hope we do. Viewers. But I think one of the things that we have to think about is, even though Luffy had a really difficult backstory, he had people who showed him that through friendship, you build the greatest strength. Mm-hmm. And he had somebody that showed him, I'll turn the other cheek unless you mess with my friend, and then I'll kick your ass. And so when you think about the way that Luffy's backstory shows us that Luffy learned about the power of relationships as an early little human being, and how that stuck with him, and he learned how powerful it was. His whole thinking was, I need a crew, and a crew is family. And together we are unstoppable, because that was what he saw as the prototype for success and happiness. And I always wonder, like, what did Blackbeard have as a story? And does his backstory actually show how people showed him that you need to fight and scrab and only use people for the best that they can give you, and that you can never actually have any faith in crew or family or friends? Whereas Luffy feels like crew is everything. Crew is family. And once we are together, we can conquer all. Mm-hmm. Okay, do you want me to go into the two types of hedonism?
I think now's a good time for that. Yeah, absolutely. Especially considering we're talking about how they see people. And I think that goes into this.
Yeah. So I think, and when you're looking at it through philosophy, you can choose all sorts of different schools of thought. So philosophy has lots of different schools of thought and thinking. And just one of them is hedonism. And a lot of people who aren't in philosophy see hedonism as, eat, drink, smoke, fornicate, do all the things, and that's all hedonism is. Mm-hmm. Whereas hedonism has all sorts of really nuanced layers and types of hedonism. And I think that Blackbeard is psychological hedonism, and Luffy is ethical hedonism, except for Luffy doesn't fully fit in ethical hedonism, and I'd want to play with that a little bit more. Yeah. But you can see how they're two sides of the same coin. So they're both hedonists in the way that they're both running out in the world, seeking the most adventure, the most pleasure, the most of everything. They are the type of people that you would say eat life. They just absolutely smack with adventure in life and want to have the best of all the things at them.
Say what you will about Blackbeard, but out of all the villains in One Piece, no one's having a better time. No one's having an adventure the way Blackbeard is.
Yeah, exactly. And Blackbeard feels like pleasure and displeasure motivates us. He's trying to have the most physical pleasure, but he will run away from anything that is displeasure. If there's any, and hedonists who are psychological hedonists will run away from things where there's any failure. They'll say, if there's going to be any failure in this, I'm outie. Whereas somebody who is a more ethical hedonist thinks about those people around them. They're still out there looking for the best of the best, but they think about leaving stuff behind. So I liken it to this thing that I was talking about with some students, where I said, like, you can be a hedonist who wants to eat all the things, have all the wine, etc. But you can also realize that at one day you're going to stop being able to eat all the things and do all the things if you ruin all the things. So you actually have to continue to have good relationships and care about the environment and care about the people, the places, the buildings, the things that you're using, because if you don't care for them, they'll run out and your hedonism runs out. Exactly. Whereas Blackbeard would be one of those piss off, I don't give a crap, I'm running full face into it. Other people can worry about caring for things. I'm going to worry about me. And if anything looks like I won't win, I'll turn tail and leave.
But in that, it's also worth noting, I still think he counts as brave, because yes, if he feels defeat is possible, he leaves, but he is absolutely willing to face a pain and agony and possible defeat to chase victory. Like, that does matter to him. Getting what he wants, the fulfillment of winning 100%. Matters a lot. And the reason I like you talking about it that way and talking about it avoiding pain is a lot of villains get hit and they like shrug it off and act like it's no big deal. When Blackbeard gets hit, he fucking shrieks in pain and says, God, that fucking hurts. Ow.
He's not trying to be tough. He is brave. It does hurt. And he does it anyways, lots of times, if it means that he could win. And he has nothing to gain. You know what else I like about that is it's the long game, right? Yeah. Like, he's willing to look like a complete ass in the short term to be a winner in the long term.
Oh yeah, he doesn't care about image, really. It's just about, because it's what he says about Bellamy to Luffy. If there's no sense dealing with small fry if you're aiming for the top. He doesn't care if he's laughed at, he doesn't care if he's made fun of, because those people are beneath him. The people who would bother laughing at him over image are beneath someone so great as to become the Pirate King. This is a man who will conquer the world, and he doesn't give a shit if those lesser than him make fun of him or think less of him in the meantime. He will win and truly doesn't care what people think of him until then.
Yeah, exactly. And this person, Void Lettuce, asked this, no, it wasn't Void Lettuce. Who was it? Where'd it go? It's Overseer, asked about the same kind of negative hedonism as the Celestial Dragons. I've actually been going through all the different people, the 4 Emperors, the Celestial Dragons, and all of them, and looking them through a philosophical lens. It is, I think, honestly, that now that I've been doing this, and I've only been doing it for a couple of days, kind of pulling apart the different characters and also the different groups of characters, and looking at them philosophically, my God, One Piece could be a phenomenal freaking vehicle for looking at philosophy and teaching kids about different philosophical schools of thought. Because there is so many different philosophers, great thinkings, because there's so many different ways of looking at people, and you're not necessarily going to be right or wrong, but there are so many different philosophers, complete methods of seeing the world through the characters that Oda has built. He has created a plethora of characters who absolutely freaking smack down on different schools, all the way from Platonic ways of thinking to Jungian ways of thinking. And he's just like made prototypes of all of these methods. It's unbelievable.
In a little bit, I want a little bit more space before we get into it, but in a little bit, I'm going to get into Isaiah Berlin's philosophy, with Isaiah Berlin's take on Kantian philosophy, at least, which is super fascinating in One Piece, and I'm so excited to talk about it. I just want to get everything else well, nice, and talked about first. Let's go take a look at our show notes and see if there's anything else we haven't done yet. Let's look at this. I don't see anything, but I feel like there was something else that we can talk about in here. So maybe while because I want a bit more space before we get to it, does anyone have any questions or statements or sort of challenges in what we've said so far? I wanna interact with chat a bit on the way here.
Chat, is this a special episode? Yeah, baby.
Yeah, this is a special episode.
What does that say?
I think the reason why I find Blackbeard so loathsome is his success gives us permission to be our worst selves. We want to be like Luffy, holding our loved ones in highest regard, or like Zoro, holding honor in great regard, or Bellamy, who'd rather sacrifice herself. then have her daughters know she would disclaim them. Blackbeard's success tells us we can climb the ranks without holding any of that. You're right, but Blackbeard is another statement on what makes people successful, because he still has a lot of the admirable traits that Oda exemplifies, which is why he's a dangerous villain. Because think about the traits he does exemplify that are positive traits, and he genuinely has them. A willingness to put your neck on the line for your ambition, a willing to put things to sacrifice and risk things for what you want, a willingness to play the long game and think about things in the long term and put image secondary compared to achieving your dreams and goals, a faith in something bigger than yourself. For Blackbeard, it's his dream and his ambition. He has faith in the dreams of mankind as being meaningful and important, a belief in the power of other people and the necessity of relying on others. Blackbeard does hold many positive traits, and I think that's what makes him terrifying and what makes his success warranted in a series about ambition and what it means to achieve your goals, because he isn't a character who goes against the values of the series. He is so in line with the value of the series. He's just a bad person despite that.
Yeah, I like this idea on why Blackbeard attacked Drum.
Yes. There was a story that the real Blackbeard, after he's beheaded, jumped off a swish. Missed that. Yeah, I kind of hope. My thinking is Blackbeard's going to drown, because we haven't seen a Devil Fruit user drown yet as of where we're at here in the first half. And it feels like when that's been set up for so long, it kind of, why hasn't it happened yet, if that's the whole thing?
Yeah. It isn't a very, when you say, I know this is very surface level, but I wonder that Blackbeard is not a perfect dark reflection of Luffy. It isn't, though, because I started to think about Blackbeard as being, it's a yin yang, and Luffy is the light and Blackbeard is the dark, and Blackbeard is night and Luffy is day, and Blackbeard is a death of a star and Luffy is the sun. And so I think of thinking them as reflections is a really cool way of looking at it.
I do think it's intentional that they're meant to be dark mirrors of each other, which again is, I think, why you have to take him seriously, because the series is telling you this is the sort of villain we should be most afraid of, because he's a villain who's like Luffy. Just so I can make it clear what I was talking about earlier. I genuinely think there's a huge difference between what Buggy does by making people love him and want to work for him and be thankful they can be near someone as cool as him, what Whitebeard does by saying, look, acknowledge I'm a good person, so you're willing to fight for me, and what Blackbeard does where he says, break out, claim your freedom, I'm the one providing it, and people challenge him and he's okay with that and is like, no, I'm in charge, but I get it. Like, he doesn't beat people up because they're like, I should be in charge because I'm super strong, because he doesn't care about that. He wants driven people who want things in the world, because that's powerful.
Yeah, you know what the difference with Buggy is? I was thinking about this the other day, because some people were being like, Buggy is a phenomenal captain, and even if he isn't all the things that people think he is, his crew thinks he is. And I was like, no, there's a vast difference between Buggy and Luffy, in that Buggy doesn't expect anyone to find the light inside themselves or get better. He just likes that people will follow him in any condition that they're in. He doesn't have a ultimate goal other than getting some money, which is why he loved Luffy's armband and wanted to get it. He doesn't have some big altruistic giant goal that people are getting behind. He isn't helping other people meet their will and find their ultimate thing. All he's doing is kind of literally floating along. And when people really like him, his end goal is that, like, it makes him feel so powerful and awesome that currently at the place we are in the story, and that could change absolutely, but currently where we are in the story, he's happy to be admired greatly. That's enough. He doesn't actually have to be worth admiring, and he doesn't have anything to admire them for. He's just happy where that is.
Now, I think we've run dry on questions here, and I'm going to move into the big philosophy I really want to talk about that's super exciting. And then we'll get into more questions, I think, at the end of it. But Luffy and Blackbeard represent something very special in the world of One Piece, I've come to realize. Kant wrote about, and it was extensively written about in an essay that's been looked at a lot in the view of liberty and freedom, the concept of two forms of freedom or liberty, negative and positive. Negative freedom is freedom from a lack of obstacles, a freedom from having things moved out of your way, not having things get in the way of what you want. Positive freedom is a freedom that comes from an abundance of resources, usually framed in the support of other people, in having access to do things you want from the people around you. So I want to talk about characters who represent each of these forms of freedom in the warlords and the emperors. So let's talk about the warlords. Mihawk is a character who exemplifies negative freedom, the freedom from a lack of obstacle. By becoming a warlord, the Marines won't attack him. He can do what he wants, live a life of leisure and luxury, and be bored out of his goddamn mind. There is no one around him. He has many things he can't do because of the agreement he's made to not do any crimes when working for the government. He has to be summoned to do work for them every once in a while, although rarely listens, and mostly came to fight strong opponents when he went to the War of the Best. So you have this character who in theory has no obstacles, nothing blocking what he wants to do. He has, the world is his oyster. And he's bored out of his mind. He chases pirates down for fun because he has nothing to do. And he sees Luffy being surrounded by people supporting him, able to do things so much greater than his power should allow him to because of how much he inspires others. And I think it genuinely starts to change Mihawk. And that's why when Zoro prostrates himself and says, I don't care about my honor as much as I care about my captain, I need to get stronger for him, he's willing to train Zoro because he understands the value of this ability Luffy possesses. Now, if you want to talk about positive freedom, we have characters like the emperors. Positive freedom is a freedom from an abundance. You have resources. The emperors basically command nations with how large their fleets are. They can do whatever they want. So far we really only know about Whitebeard extensively, but we know he has this massive fleet. But what else do we know about him? He has territories he's obliged to protect. He has a bunch of people he needs to come take care of. He has so much more responsibility than someone who's just sailing on their own with a small group of people does. That truly, despite how much he in theory can act upon his own will, the embodiment of positive freedom, the abundance to act upon one's own will, he doesn't have freedom because he has obligations and limitations. He has the lack of negative freedom that comes from not having obstacles. So what is it that Luffy and Blackbeard both represent? Well, positive freedom comes from an abundance of resource. The resource is almost always considered to be people. They have found strong, powerful people who are willing to help them achieve their goals in exchange for mutual help. In Blackbeard's case, it's entirely transactional. I offer you your freedom, come work for me. And in Luffy's case, it's inspirational, and it goes both ways. Everyone is willing to lay their dreams on the down on the line to help the rest of the crew achieve their dreams. But it's the same thing where they give each other the assets they need, but it's still small crews without obligation. I think what these characters are meant to show us is that to be free from oppression and to have a reliable group of driven people who you are willing to help the dreams of and who are willing to support your dreams is the way to have this balance of positive and negative freedom, which I think is kind of beautiful. And Blackbeard and Luffy exemplify that differently. Luffy obviously in a more positive context because the crew actually care about each other's dreams instead of it just being transactional.
Yeah, I think it's really important to note that Mihawk, if you were looking at the story and just sitting there for a minute, would appear to be the person who has the most freedom. He has nobody who is leaning on him, who asks anything of him. He is beholden to nothing. And so that feels like a freedom. But in actuality, Mihawk can only do so much because he stands alone. He doesn't have anyone to work with. He can't create anything or reach larger goals. And even if his larger goals were just to change the place that he lived in, he wouldn't be able to do that. His freedom is limited and his time is going to be more valuable because it's going to take him a lot more time to do anything that he wants to do. So it limits his freedom. Whereas Blackbeard and Luffy are in this ultimate position of a big enough crew that they're moving through life and able to accomplish things together, but they are not beholden, well, especially since they thought that Blackbeard was, but they are not beholden to a larger conglomeration that is in any way tugging them in any direction. So I think it's really interesting that they are both they are both on that side of freedom, and yet Luffy's freedom is even bigger, which is why we know that he's going to have to win in the end, because Luffy is not going to ever have to manage his crew. He's not going to ever have to worry that their ideas of freedom and success are going to work against his, or that anyone is going to try and climb on top of him and take the ultimate goal in the end. So you have even more freedom than when the people that you are with like you.
Yeah. I want to point out, though, someone I think is getting a big misread of it, where they're like, Luffy is symbiotic, he needs his crew and they need him. Blackbeard is parasitic, he's leeching off them. I think that's true of a lot of villains in the series. I don't think Blackbeard's parasitic. While it's transactional and I don't think his crew love each other, genuinely, he is helping them. He does offer the Impel Down prisoners freedom. He lets Jesus Burgess go around challenging people to fight, screaming, "Wee ha ha!" He lets Doc Q poison people for fun. He lets Lafitte going around doing whatever that fucker does when he flies about. He does let his crew act upon their dreams. He lets his crew do what they want and gives them the freedom to do it. He does liberate his crew, and they mutually help each other because they understand they can only do what they want with the help of each other, but they don't deeply care about each other. And I agree with you that the series at the end, when the chips are down, is going to show us a Blackbeard crew that, despite how incredibly powerful they'll become by helping each other with their ambitions, when it looks like all is lost, I think they're going to break because they don't have the stick-to-itiveness that comes with caring about each other and wanting to protect each other.
Yeah, I would agree. And somebody was saying that Luffy's crew manages him, and I think in like a day-to-day maybe, but they can't actually.
Yeah, Luffy still will decide what to do.
The other thing I was thinking about Blackbeard and Luffy is Blackbeard will make plans and pivot in the moment that he will have made a plan. Luffy will act and pivot. He has an end goal. He hasn't thought of anything on the in-between. He acts and pivots. Blackbeard plans and pivots.
Yes.
And so they're the same, but they're different.
Yeah, and I think what Oda's trying to tell us there is that action and drive matter more, but I also think with how important timing is in the series, I think it's also fair to say that they are very comparable in that they have waited for the right timing. With Luffy, twice now, he's honed his body and skills so that he can only take on a challenge when he's ready for it. And with Blackbeard, he kind of did the same thing, but instead it was this more meticulous plan of, I know the devil fruit I need for my plan, and I'm going to wait for it. And probably was also honing himself and getting stronger in the meantime, but I think there is a similarity. It's just Luffy, his preparation is just being ready to be able to act, whereas Blackbeard, it is part of this larger scheme. But it's so similar. People forget that twice now, Luffy has decided to stop adventuring, not do what he wants, and get ready.
Yep. And that's interesting because I'm starting to see Luffy as this extroverted person who needs to speak his plans out loud or do them out loud, not even speak them, more of like do them. And he feels more and more ADD to me every day.
Absolutely.
Like the kid is one of those people that when you have them in your class, you're watching him out in the world and you're thinking like, as long as this kid can move and do, he's thinky. Thinky is the word I'm going to use. Like Luffy gains intelligence through actions. While he is moving, he pivots in an amazing way, which is actually really smart. Like you couldn't do the things and remake plans mid-air and decide on what to do if you didn't have intelligence. Luffy has a level of intelligence, but it is a moving, doing, thinking well in it. He can't sit and plan. His brain doesn't work that way. Whereas Blackbeard can sit and plan and scheme. And then when he's in it, he's like, oh, it's not going to work this way. We're going to need to pivot in this direction. But I'm starting to see Luffy as a person who actually has like a ton of emotional intelligence with other people. And then he has a huge ability to have like spatial intelligence and other intelligence as long as he's moving.
Yeah. That's interesting. I haven't thought about that before. How like Luffy's not dumb, but it's he can't think when he's not in action. It's only on the fly improvisation, which I think is another way you have to look at these characters and what Oda's saying, because these are meant to tell us the best and second best kind of pirate in the world. is what they are going to embody by the end of the series. So with Luffy, you were seeing that the best kind of pirate, the best kind of chaser of dreams and ambition is someone who just takes action and does. And I think that's so fair with how Oda sees his work life, because he is not someone who spent forever planning before starting. He took some swings, and the second One Piece got picked up as a continuing series, was building the track from under him. He knows where it's going. He knows his plan, but he lets how he gets there change. That's how he works, is even though he knows what he's doing, he is a guy who plans and pivots and shifts and is willing to add in and change how he gets to the destination, just like Luffy.
And it's really interesting because I like that he's chosen that and given us little kind of markers. Like when Luffy says, when I was in the middle of a fight last time, I noticed this and this, or while I was out doing this, I noticed this, which shows that for him, and I hate to do this to your dad, but I'm gonna call him out right now. That he kind of, your dad has the ability to sit sometimes and think. So I just want to put that out there. He's not fully Luffying it out, but your dad does his best thinking and movement. So why is your dad a long distance runner? Why does he do ultra marathons up giant ass mountains? Because that's meditation for him. As long as he is moving and deeply active, he has deep thinking. And I think that's where Luffy is doing his deep thinking. And the reason we don't see it as much as an audience, even though it's shown in the type of actions he does, he would not be able to fight, redesign what he needs to do in order to beat someone, think about how he has to change his body, accidentally find hockey and use it and start changing things unless he had deep thinking taking place in his movement. So I've started to realize, like, Luffy's not stupid. Luffy's intelligence is only while he's in action. And so it's a type of meditation and thinking for him. Yeah, it's like he has an ability to, through kinetic movement, Luffy is intelligent. And so when you're looking at the multiple intelligence, Luffy is a kinetic learner. And he's got this great social dynamic. And so he has people who are sit-and thinkers. That's not him. But he also, because he has this emotional ability, is able to pull on other people's strengths to sit their ass down and plan the rest of it out while he's doing. And that's incredible. And then when I think about Blackbeard, he tells them the eventual aim. They kind of create a plan together. But every one of his crew knows, follow Blackbeard's lead, because this man is a pivot master. And if shit goes south, he's going to find us the direction out. And we are going to live, because what Blackbeard cares about is being there to win eventually.
I think he's such a great captain for these bastards to follow because of it. Because, like, if you're following Blackbeard, you can have complete confidence that this is the man who is always going to be aiming for a win con. Like, he always has something in mind that he's going for. There is a thought towards, how do we get out of this one? How do we come out with the win? Which, while Luffy doesn't offer, I think he offers something that Oda makes more special, which is he is a man who is willing to give anything to win. He will give his life every step of the way. He'll come up with moves that bleed his life energy, because winning is what Luffy is always looking for.
Yeah.
But I think it's really cool, because Luffy gives anything to win, and Blackbeard is always looking for what he can do to win.
Yes. And so when I first read this, and before I had the benefit of seeing Luffy in multiple things, I was just like, what kind of a dumbass cuts himself in the face right away to show his strength? But then I realized, because the two people that he had in his life that he most admired for strength were his grandfather, huge cut on his eye, and Shanks, huge cut on his eye. And so Luffy sees the owie on an eye when he's a little kid as being like the ultimate thing of somebody who is strong. So of course that's the direction he goes. And that was immediate action. He just acted without thinking, and then was like, see, look, I'm strong. Because that was little kid Luffy's ability to think in the moment. But as he grows up, we are seeing him do things like this person is talking about McGill, that he picked Shave up from the 6 powers of CP9 in the moment. That's mad brilliant. But he can only do it, not if he's sitting still and thinking about it, but if he's literally acting on it.
Well, and not just acting on it, but using Gear Second, which is an embodiment of action and doing anything to win. Like, it's a power-up that exemplifies this energy. I just need to shift in my seat a little.
Exactly. so now I'm actually seeing Luffy as being really intelligent, but the only way that he gains access to this brain calming ability to think is if his body is in action. That when he's sitting still, there's too much energy, too much motion, too much movement, too much distraction, and he can't sit and plan. So Luffy's skill and Luffy's intelligence comes when he's bodily kinesthetic, when he's moving. Yeah. It's a new way I'm starting to see his character.
I think you're right about it. God, the thing is, this has become just as much of a Luffy video as a Blackbeard video, but genuinely, I don't think you can talk about Blackbeard without talking about Luffy, because I mean it when I say the fact that they are mirrors of each other is why you need to read Blackbeard this way. Like, I get that it's easy to look at him being a bumbling dumbass and be used to other media and go, that means he's just a goofy villain. But you can't. You have to understand that this series is about why Luffy's the best. And this dude who acts like Luffy in so many ways is the biggest threat because of that.
Yeah, exactly. Funny side story. I had this kid, you would know him, you went to school with him, but I taught him when I taught PE for a while because I coached rugby humans. So because I coached rugby, they needed a PE teacher when I was early in my career, and I took it on.
Yeah.
And there was this kid when we were playing handball who used the wall, ran up the wall to get around somebody, and then landed, rolled, and scored on the other side. And then everyone was like, what the hell? And I called him over, and he was like, seriously, are you going to get mad at me? And I was like, no, man, I'm making an end of the world team, and I want to know if you want to be on it. Because it was so like Luffy. It was like you watch this kid in class and he needed to move, so nobody saw the best of him. But you put him in a situation where he is able to move, and suddenly he gets this sixth sense about things, and all of his intelligence turns on.
All right, Blackbeard.
And that's how I see Luffy now.
Blackbeard haters in chat who have yet to be convinced by our incredible conversation about why this is the real shit villain and y'all need to be worried about the big man on campus. Come at me. Give me your challenges. We're in the taken all comers portion of the video where you point out flaws in my logic and I tell you you're wrong. I have a debate, bro. I try to cage in my heart, but sometimes he needs blood.
Blackbeard and his OG also bring up a fate. Well, things end up happening. Not saying necessarily, I don't believe they will.
Yeah, it's curious for fate to matter in a story of freedom, but I've said before that the way I read fate in One Piece, because of it being a story about freedom, is that fate is the path carved out by wills left on this earth, on this planet, by powerful individuals, and fate is just the coalescing of of inherited wills. That's kind of how I read it. And granted, when we one day find out what fate means in One Piece, I might be wrong, but that's what I believe. I believe that fate is just people writing the story with what they want to see in the world and giving their all to will.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. And I think when we talk about fate and destiny, I think that destiny doesn't count unless you're doing something. You can have the ability to have a destiny, but if you're on your ass and you're not actually acting on it, fate can do whatever it wants. It's not going to just make it happen for you. So I like the idea of the will of D is only activated by action.
Yeah, I also like to think of it as a situation where, because fate is caused by inherited will, you can have situations where multiple fates can clash and you don't know what the outcome will be. Like, it's said to be those of the D clan of checkered fate. We see Ace and Blackbeard fighting and it talking about how this is a turning point for fate. I think that's literal. I think when the sun and the black hole collided in that battle, truly, literally, the fate of the world could go in either direction as two fated beings carrying on inherited will collide. We don't know what Blackbeard's inherited will represents. Granted, I have a good idea of it further in the future, but Mama Drock does not know. And we're talking about this from a Marineford post-war perspective. But you do know that he believes in fate in a series where both of our reading is that fate is inherited will. And I genuinely think that clash could have gone in either direction, even though in theory they're fated beings. Because
I would agree.
What happens when two destinies clash?
This person here said, Luffy wants adventure and fun with the friends. What does Blackbeard want? Well, Luffy wants adventure and fun with his friends, but he also wants to be the king of the pirates and at the top, which will be a whole different thing. I think Blackbeard wants power.
I think he wants to be king of the pirates too, but I think for him that means conquering the world.
I think so too. I think he wants ultimate power. Mm-hmm. So, Mama, do you want to meet more Ds? Who doesn't want to meet more Ds, man?
Do you think there's any more? If you had to guess any character we've met who you don't know if they have a D in their name, and you would guess that they do, who do you think might?
What did you just say?
So if you were,
if I had to guess who had a D still in their name,
who has a D in their name that we already know, like if there's anyone with a secret D in their name.
Oh, yeah, I did think there was someone, like, we haven't seen Rayleigh's full name, and I feel like he could have a D.
Yeah, we've only seen, we've seen that his name is Silver's Rayleigh, but but just like with Gold Roger, we can find out later that there was more to their name.
Yeah. Buggy, he could have a D. I mean, I don't know, but I could see Buggy having a D just because of how he keeps coming back and how he clearly is going to mean more to the story. Like, I swear to God, I'm looking at it and I'm like, yeah, Oda, I can see that you love frickin' Buggy. Like,
he very clearly loves Buggy.
You frickin' love Buggy. It's clear. Crocodile, I could also see having a D. That's one that I could, especially since so many have this crocodile as Luffy's mum trope.
It's a bit people love. You also said Shanks previously that you're certain Shanks does, even though we haven't had.
And I think Shanks has a D. Mm-hmm. Because I've said that before, because how does he not? I do. I have a D, just so everyone knows. I'm just
Mama D Rock.
Mama D Rock. I think that I did say that I thought that Zoro may have a D. I'm not certain about what the shit's going on with Sanji. Like, he's something. I've said it before and I'll say it again.
You've said often that there's something up with Sanji, but that you don't know what that means.
And it pisses me off because men don't turn their legs into big hot lava monsters without it being a thing.
Someone in YouTube comments recently was like, but did you know that the SBS, Oda said it's because his passion burns that hot? And I said that to you on stream and you were like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Passion burns so hot. Yeah, I know. I read it in the SBS. I didn't need someone to say it. I said it was a demon or dragon last time. I don't know. And I'm also starting to have a bunch of other wonders. Like, I was doing a bunch of reading, and so I started to have a bunch of other wonders about people with the D. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. I think so far, though, those are definitely the people that I think I haven't been shown. Rayleigh, Crocodile, Buggy, Sanji, I don't know, Zoro, and red-haired Shanks. Finding out about shit that was going on with Mihawk was a little jarring to see that he's like the ultimate bachelor. Like, he's a lonely man. Home?
He's a lonely 45-year-old man living in an empty house who has like a 22-year-old college girl living in his living room.
Yeah, but she wasn't there all along. She was just moved there by Kuma.
It makes the setting weirder now, doesn't it? That like there's just this 22-year college-aged girl living in his guest room now. Everything about his setup is like, dude, get your life together.
Yeah. Everyone is with God Usopp.
I hang out with monkeys. Isn't my life together enough?
It's awkward. And don't get me wrong, I'm still here for Mihawk, and I wonder what happened, and I hope to God that we get to see a backstory on Mihawk. Mm-hmm. But I keep wondering, like, how does somebody like Mihawk end up in a frickin' stupid little castle all on their own?
That's the thing earlier. I truly think he's meant to embody negative freedom, that he saw freedom as having as few obstacles as possible. And has realized without actually having the ability to do what you want, that's meaningless.
Yeah, and so your dad and I talk about it all the time. Like, the more things you own, the more things you have, the bigger your nut is. And the bigger your nut is, the more responsibility you have for taking care of that. We always say small nut, easy life, because the less things you have, the less things you own, the less you need to take care of. It's like Mihawk has taken that to a whole other level.
He's taken that to a level of like emptiness.
I'm just going to have an empty home that's falling the shit apart so nobody cares what happens, and I'll just live in the parts that still have a roof. Just like, Bro, my dude.
I have a
so yeah,
castle.
I wondered if Mihawk had a D, but part of me is like, he definitely has the hockey, but not everyone who has hockey needs to have a D.
Yeah,
so
I mean, all of the
know.
Amazon Kuja have hockey.
And they're not all D.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I definitely have decided that there is for sure some bigger one person thing at the very top of all of the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
There is someone we are not seeing that we haven't met that's up there, being all honking and giant and pulling chains.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't wait to find out who that is. But yeah, how do y'all feel about this show of power at Marineford? A lot of people in the community feel like Mihawk didn't do enough considering he's supposed to be the world's strongest swordsman. You know what? Mihawk was in a very interesting situation, right?
Yeah.
He's there with Red Hair Shanks in his friendship. He's beholden to the government in some way, but he also has his own relationship with the Straw Hats. And I think it's a very unique position that Mihawk found himself in. So I think people can just chill the shit out. I think he did the right amount.
I also think people really fucking misread the situation. Vista's supposed to be one of the world's best swordsmen. People are like, how could Vista even hold him off? Guys, Vista's one of the best in the world. If they fought for a long time, he'd lose. But it's not like fights in One Piece usually aren't, I'm stronger than you, so I win in a second, and I'm the best. Vista is one of the world's best swordsmen. Of course he was able to fight Mihawk for a little bit. Like a few minutes.
I agree.
That's not that crazy. Like Whitebeard smashed Akainu's face to bits multiple times, and Akainu melted off a piece of his chest and face, and they were both still standing. One Piece isn't a world where when someone's stronger, the fight's over immediately. Generally, weaker people often hold somebody off in One Piece. It's a really common event, so I don't know why everyone's like, how could Vista possibly? Because Vista's what, like 4th best in the world or something? He's up there. I don't think it's that wild that he can spar.
No, it 100% makes sense. I also just think that Mihawk did as much as he wanted to do. If you're a person who has that kind of negative freedom, you're like, bite me. Sure, I have to be here. I'm beholden to this a little bit, and I've got to show up. So I showed up. I'll fight a couple people, but honestly, my heart's not in this shit. This isn't the shit I want to do.
I genuinely think he would have only had fun if he could have 1v1'd Whitebeard, and he just never got the chance because people kept getting in his way.
Yeah, I agree. And he was like, it's not even worth it.
Ace and Jinbei had a days-long fight. We know this is a world where people of comparable strengths can fight for a long time without an instant victor. Why are people shocked that Vista can hold back a guy? Like...
Yeah.
Like, he's good enough.
Whatever.
I've seen the wildest reads on it where Mihawk straight up goes, "You're quite impressive," to Vista, and I've heard people read, "That was sarcasm." What? He's the world's like 4th best swordsman or some shit. I do think he's impressed by Vista. Vista's a good swordsman. He's one of Whitebeard's big names. Like, why is it shocking that he's powerful?
I agree with Katu that the only warlord who was fully invested in Marineford was the Flamingo bullshit.
He had a great time.
He really enjoyed that shit. I hate him, but he was really there for it. You went away. Where'd you go?
Oh, I'm here. Oh, I'm not here. What happened?
Wild.
Why is stream broken? Guys, can you hear me? Because my stream's broken.
No, they seem to be.
Okay, cool.
You're still here. Yeah. Oh, so you can't see you and I can't see you, but everybody else can?
I got it to load now.
Okay.
Yeah. Morio wanted corpses. You're right. I don't think Morio was invested until he saw Little Oars Jr. and then he went, "Oh shit! I just had the Straw Hat broke mine. I need that guy."
In the defense of Morio, he really likes him some bodies.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going to be invested in that shit. But that's cheating.
All right, guys. I need more challenges. I need more challenges on my amazing Blackbeard statements.
They can't challenge you yet. They like your statements, but we need to get further in so they can mention shit they want to mention.
Yeah, okay.
But they can't because I'm here.
That's true.
I do want to talk about for a minute the stuff I saw on YouTube, some of the questions, because I had 2 questions I wanted to answer. You want to indulge me?
Let's do some ITQ time.
Yeah, because
Oh, wait. First, I need is a haha. We got to highlighted messages for it. Oh, in the drawing? Yeah, we will. Don't worry. I just thought of a cool thing I can do. It's going to be so cool. But also, all right.
Yes, that is always excellence.
Best laugh in the series.
Did anyone here go on for the ITQ and write me a question and then find out that for some reason YouTube just was like, I've decided to delete all of your things?
Yeah, it just fucking massacred our questions.
Yeah, and likes. They deleted like I think it was 40 questions that people wrote, and then they deleted like 400 likes. Yes, you did aesthetic. Yes.
Yeah.
It was really, really weird.
YouTube decided it was unfair how great we were and is needing to cripple us. Hey guys, wait, do the plug. You got to do a plug to like and subscribe because we need to explain how YouTube is fighting us. And if you care about our show, you need to like and subscribe to fight YouTube trying to keep us down. The man trying to keep us down.
Okay, I'll do the plug right now. And if your part gets deleted, I'll make sure that you can. I like that Katu has decided to do a quick countdown from 40.
I love how Kaito picks a new number every time. I also just love the first time chatter who came in to give a 74. Thank you, first time chatter.
Thank you very much, first time chatter. A random 74 is exactly the perfect thing for this. For the feeling here. Kaito always just
did you know
counting
that
down.
When your audio glitched earlier, I beatboxed to what it was doing for a bit?
Oh no, I was listening to you. It was very weird. I couldn't hear me, but I could hear you. And so, there we go.
So many ones.
Hey, here we go. And action. Hi there, YouTube.
Hey there.
It's me, Mama Drock.
Hey, did you know that
I don't know if you heard this.
Yeah, I did.
YouTube is fighting against me.
I'm fighting against you on YouTube, and I'm fighting you.
Yeah, they're completely fighting me. So what's going on here is people are leaving comments and questions, and we're doing I'm taking questions, and then suddenly YouTube steals them all.
That's what I'm doing. I'm stealing them. I'm throwing them in a blender.
I'm worried that you don't have your own friends, so you're trying to get mine.
Yeah, I'm trying to steal your friends and put them in a wood chipper.
I knew it. Fight against me. Fight with me, people. Fight against YouTube. Like and subscribe and keep YouTube from stealing all of our friends.
And putting them in a blender. Just so you know, that's what I do with them. That's what I do with the comments I steal.
Oh, God, no, you rotten thing.
Yeah.
You have to quit being YouTube because you're grossing me out, you freak. Gross. Stop stealing our friends, YouTube.
Well, too bad.
Stop putting our friends in blenders. Join Discord. It's where we all chit chat. I think people think that in Discord that people just put on a couple of questions. That's not what's happening. People are having full ass talks about things that they've always loved about One Piece or hated about One Piece. They talk about other manga. They go into the spoiler room and talk about me. Sexism. They have all sorts of fun doing a variety of things. We have every age in there. It's a place that I love going to and talking to people. It is my only opportunity other than the ITQ to have talks with people one-on-one, and I'd love to see you there. Once we get to 50,000 subscribers, Drock will become a pineapple. Once we get to 150, that's exactly what will happen. Once we get to 150, I'll go live. You know what, YouTube? You know what? I'm excited you're here. We're done. So people have put things on here where and asked questions that I wasn't able to answer. I gave one of the greatest answers in the history of answering when somebody asked me. Here it is. No, not that one.
Not that one.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Someone said, "Hi, Mama Drock. Take 2 on my question," because I answered them, and then they said YouTube only showed part of the answer, which really pisses me off. It's one of the best answers I've ever made. With all the research you do to come up with your analysis, how do you manage to avoid spoilers? That's a phenomenal question. People love to think that I'm running around there being spoiled all over the place, which is wild to me. And it makes me think that there's obviously people out there who are like, I am just going to cheat and spoil and guess. This was never supposed to be a guessing show. This is supposed to be a first time read. But then I started making predictions, so we were like, well, let's just keep doing
In
that.
like episode 1, you were like, would it be fun if I did predictions? And then they were so good because you predicted in episode 1 that Buggy would work alongside Luffy at some point and follow him to the Grand Line, that people were like, hey, you need to keep predicting.
And I said to you, like, do I need to keep predicting? I don't want to feel like I'm a prediction machine, some kind of Nostradamus of One Piece. That's weird. And then we talked about it and decided, who gives a shit? I'm going to get things right and wrong. I love my purple mushrooms.
Oh my God.
Especially now that dude.
Oh yeah.
The dude who made us our new things, the purple mushroom it leaks green stuff. And I'm still there for mushroom. It. I'm sorry, that man did such a good job with the purple mushrooms.
Holy shit, right?
I like it better than the stars now. Now I'm like, how many more purple mushrooms can I get? I'm going to make wrong things just so I can see a purple mushroom. It's so good. Okay, so let me tell you, let me give you just a little out loud of what it is that I do to avoid spoilers. Yeah. So in the beginning, I did a lot more of reading of comments, but anytime I got to something where, and it's so easy, within a word, you can tell, yep, nope, okay, pet the boy, by the way. I can't read this. I'm not allowed to read this. And I would move away from it. But since I had something confirmed for me, I don't like to read the comments anymore. So I get to miss all the nice things people say, and it makes me sad. That's a great dog cam. Drop and give all them right. 5.
Time for the dog
cam.
So
now,
I'll be right back.
Now I get students who love to read for me, and they will read to me the comments they like and the comments they don't like. And if somebody makes a comment they hate, they'll super read it and be like, look what these people said to you, blah, blah, blah. And it makes them so angry. So I get to hear all those all the time. I'll wait till drop comes up and then I'll talk about it. Okay, so the way that I do my predictions is the following. So I ask questions. The first thing I do is while I'm reading it, I am asking questions the entire time. What do I think about this character? What do I think about what they're doing? I look for things where people are clearly, there's foreshadowing, and then there's projecting, and there's all different ways that an author will use to kind of show you what might be coming up or give you hints without giving you hints. And sometimes they're really difficult to find, but sometimes you just get a sixth sense by them. You're like, I feel like there's something here and I'm just missing it. And so if there's an area that kind of twigs something in me, I come back to it and say, like, I feel like the author is telescoping here and I'm just not seeing it. And I need to ask questions around this. So for instance, when I was thinking about Luffy and why people were trying to save him and what was going up, and then people kept saying, Usopp's our god. And I was sitting there and playing with that idea. And all of a sudden I was like, this is a farm boy trope. Luffy is a god. And then I started to look for clues. Okay, why do I feel that way? And so I started to look for telescoping that he was doing. And then I started to find like direct hints. But if you weren't looking for it and that wasn't the direction of your thoughts, and you weren't thinking that this was a farm boy kind of experience where we were eventually going to have somebody with a different kind of power and they just didn't know it, you wouldn't necessarily see it. And then once I decided that, I was like, I need to look up symbolism and I need to look up mythology of sun gods and, well, first I said gods in general. And so I went into Japanese lore, and I stay away from I never ask any questions when I'm researching. Even if they're a chapter that I've already read, I still don't ask questions about things like One Piece things. Even if a chapter I read, I don't ask questions about previous chapters because it'll also fill my channel with all sorts of spoilers because of the way that the algorithm
even
works.
Just occasionally accidentally watching our videos on your normal YouTube instead of your Mama Drock YouTube, you've gotten like a couple thumbnails now that gave some stuff away.
Yeah, so I had the sea trains kind of spoiled, but not spoiled for me because there was that one.
There being a sea train's not a spoiler because it's not the solution to a problem. It's just a thing that the second it's relevant in the story, you were directly shown.
Yeah, I didn't know how much it was going to change my algorithm. And so I was watching just our YouTube videos on my regular channel, and then a thumbnail came up of the sea train, and it was like the engineering behind the sea train, and we've talked about that before. This person said, yes, people are constantly trying to take away spoilers for me inside of chats and inside of Discord. And it's amazing because people do that. I get to stay spoiler free, and I appreciate it.
The other thing is really good about it. Honestly, people get mad about some things, but like I genuinely think the amount of spoilers you've had from chat has been incredibly small, and I think people have done a great job.
Yeah, 100%. And also the other way that I do it is that I don't want to be spoiled. So every single time I get a purple mushroom, I'm excited because I'm pretty good at guessing how things are going to go. When I watch a movie or a play or read a book or see a show, I get a few minutes in and I'm like, oh, this is going to happen. To the point that Drock's dad is now forbidden me to tell him what's going to happen because it pisses him off. And so that's one of the reasons why I love it when I get a purple mushroom, because the author has surprised me, and I'm here for that. That is so awesome. I love it when things are shocking and I'm not spoiled and I'm like, God damn, that was good. So the other thing I do is when I ask questions, then I start to, if I come up with something that I think might be an answer, I start to look for that in other stories. So I'll do things like look up stories about music and sound, and where music, like when I was in Skypiea, I started to look up stories where bells or music became important as a method of saving people and what it meant. And then I started to look up things around mythos about bells, and is there any legends or myths where bells are a savior? And then I ask questions about that. But the key is questions. And I think it's funny how many people are like, you can't do this. And I'm like, dude, you just need to ask questions. You have to be willing to sit without any freaking things in front of you, except for a piece of paper and a pen, and say, okay, I need to ask a question about this. I'm looking at my piece here. What does it make me think of? What do I wonder? I wonder why Luffy is able to do things he shouldn't be able to do. Why is he powering up? That doesn't make any sense. Why is Luffy able to suddenly go into a level 2? What is Luffy adding to himself?
Holy shit, we missed something earlier.
What?
We missed something important earlier that I'm going to go into. You just reminded me of one of the most important things about our discussion. But
well, then write it down. We'll go back after.
I got mental bookmark. I got it.
Okay, so then once I do that and I notice something, then I make a question about it. And I think one of the greatest lost arts, and it reminded me of this, so my philosophy kids are about to go on a happy ass ride, is one of our greatest lost arts is question asking. And Einstein is the one person I think of when he was saying that boredom is like a pathway to questions, and questions are a pathway to knowledge, and that you have to allow yourself to get bored to train yourself to think. And the way that you think is through questions. Lucky you, philosophy students, you have no idea how much question work you're going to do. And instead of writing the answers to things in school, I think kids need to start learning to ask the questions. Because when you do that, you change the way you think. So then once I ask questions and I don't find what answers I want, this morning I went on a deep dive and I listened to 2 podcasts about early manga. And I spent a good long time finding out about how manga is a connection between early books in Japan, and how in early Japan with block printing there was an incredible block printing comic thing where all these people ate too many yams and then had a fart war. But in that, they also had political ideals they talked about that they hid within humor. So that's that idea that you and I talked about today, where we use humor as a method of covering up things that are otherwise unpalatable to talk about. And so they called out the Japanese government and they talked about bad parts of their own society, but they hid it in things where fart wars were taking place. And then I listened to a podcast about Osamu Tezuka, who is the Astro Boy creator, and who loved the sweet potato fart war, and so he put jet fart packs in Astro Boy's butt. But at the same time, he decided that it was really important to have a balance so that kids could actually see what was going on in the world, because he felt taken aback when World War II happened and he watched he watched broiled bodies float by him in the water, in the river. And he said that he was so disappointed that the adults had hidden so much of the adult world from him that he didn't even know that these types of things were possible. And so he started to create manga as a way of attaching political, difficult ideas to swallow with childlike things, which is what manga is. It's a bridge between adults and children, and it talks about difficult subjects. And so that happened because I realized when I was asking my questions, you know what? I've tried to hide in this little thing, which is fine, but I know nothing about manga. And because I know nothing about manga, I'm actually missing things. So I started to ask questions about manga, and it took me on another deep dive. And now I'm into this man, and I'm asking a bunch of questions about him. And so I think that the answer is you read, you question, you research those questions. I stay out of anything that has the word One Piece. When anything comes up, I run away. I only look at our videos now on the Mama Drop channel, and I'm careful just to go straight to our video, click on it, watch it, look at it, and then flip back over into the other side to ask anything. And I follow paths. I ask myself historical things. I'm starting to see some of the ways in which Oda has hidden a bunch of Japanese history inside of it now. And now I'm even more sure of the Comfort Woman because I've seen how you would use politics inside of manga as a hidden way. And so, yeah, that's my advice. It's analyze, question, re-question. And you don't need to look up spoilers to learn things. And you're going to be wrong sometimes. And that's where the sauce gets made.
So
that's it.
Real quick, I want to touch on something because someone came in to ask, did we touch on for the Blackbeard discussion, which we're going back to in a sec because I realized something I forgot. That's going to have to be part of the video. But if we touched on the idea that Blackbeard seems to have multiple personalities and that could explain multiple devil fruits.
I need to be real with you guys real quick here. He's a consistent character.
You don't need to explain it. You don't need the dumb fucking YouTube theory that Lafitte is secretly controlling Blackbeard. You don't need the theory that he's multiple different people and that's why he acts differently. He is a consistent character. The consistency of Blackbeard is what I open this video with. He is smart. He is tactical. He goes about things in a way that gets the most benefit. And he is courageous when he needs to be because of his ambition. You guys are right. Saying that he's brave might be the wrong way to put it. I think it's accurate, but it's more accurate to say he's ambitious. Think about it. Every time he acts like a dumbass, is he actually being dumb? He's just enjoying cherry pie because he likes cherry pie. He's celebrating Luffy managing to beat Bellamy without throwing a punch because he respects someone else aiming for the top in the world. When he gets injured, he screams in pain because it actually hurts. He's not some invincible behemoth. He takes damage when he gets hit. And when does he seem brave? When something important's on the line. When does he seem menacing? When he's take control of a fight. When does he seem like a coward? When he would probably lose or there's nothing to gain. This is a perfectly consistent character. This is a character who makes exact sense. And I think a lot of people need to look at him sometimes looking one way and sometimes looking another as something they need to justify, but it's not at all. The scenarios are different. He reacts to the scenarios exactly according to a cunning strategist who isn't afraid to look weak, who isn't afraid to have his reputation worsened because all he cares about is winning. He doesn't care if he has to look bad. This is a man who wants to win.
I also think the they thing that happens in Jaya is like if somebody was like, where's Drock? I'd be like, where's Drock? Blah, blah, blah. What's he doing? And I'd say, oh, they left a while back. Look, I wouldn't necessarily say he. It would depend.
Where
are they?
Someone said, I like the Lafitte theory. I don't think it's dumb. No, fuck it. It's a dumb theory. It's antithetical to the themes of this series. It would make sense in Naruto. And look, could I be wrong? Very possibly. We don't know.
Yes.
But I think Lafitte secretly controlling Blackbeard is completely in opposition to all themes of One Piece. One Piece is thematically about ambition and dreams and self-determination and friendship and relying on others. And Blackbeard embodies every one of that but friendship. And the series is going to be at the end about why friendship is the difference between Luffy and Blackbeard that makes one win and one lose. And I think while in some series that are more about like cunning and secrets and betrayal, the Lafitte theory could work. It's really dumb in One Piece. It's entirely against what this series is about. If you have a character who's this big, brash, free will force of power and change in the world, but he's secretly just a pawn of a sneaky backstabber, I think that goes exactly against what this series wants to be about, especially because he's been drawn in parallel to Luffy, and he's a character who Shanks has given hype to. I don't think the theory actually works thematically in this story in the slightest. Now, granted, Oda has made things work that I usually don't like in other stories, so could he make it work? Possibly, but I don't think he's willing to sacrifice and betray the themes of the story to such an extent that he would undermine a character as in line with the themes of One Piece as that. Look, the Kraken theory, here's the other thing, the Kraken theory, the Cerberus theory, I don't give a shit. I'm not here to talk theories. There's enough people theorizing what's going on with this man, but that's not what makes him cool. What makes him cool isn't that he might secretly be three brothers who are switching places with the darkness fruit. What makes him cool isn't that he might be a Kraken with 3 hearts to have 3 devil fruits, or that he might be a Cerberus with 3 heads to have 3 devil fruits. That doesn't make Blackbeard cool. What makes him cool is that he's a force of ambition and change in the world, that he sees the power of will and dreams and builds a crew of hardened criminals who have will and dreams of their own to push each other forwards, to conquer the world with violence. That makes him a cool threat. And I think there's enough videos about theory, so when we do a deep dive on a character, you're not getting theory. We aren't going to theorize. We are going to deeply, psychologically, thematically, and philosophically analyze a character, because that's what I find fun, and that's what there's not enough of in this fan base. So we are going to be providing that. There are so many cool Blackbeard theories, but I don't need them for him to be cool, and that's why we're doing a different kind of content.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
Before I forget, somebody asked what some of the different podcasts that I did. The one that I listened to on that was about Tezuka Osamu, the godfather of manga, was on one called The Essay, and it's a podcast called The Essay, and it says Tezuka Osamu, godfather of manga. Mm-hmm. And that was amazing if you're interested in that. And then I listened to another one when I couldn't sleep this morning on the rest of history called Japan, Samurais and Shoguns. And I did that one because I have a theory about Oda, because there is a person in history who was very important in Japan whose name was Oda Miranga, who was a bloodthirsty samurai. And I think if my name was Oda and one of the most important people in the history of my country had the same name as me, I would use some of their things to show some of my story. Mm. And then I listened to one called Shakespeare and Pals. I know that doesn't sound like it's going to be about things, but it's a pound of fair flesh, Astro Boy, Osamu Tezuka's Merchant of Venice. So it's comparing the Merchant of Venice and Astro Boy, and it actually is absolutely freaking incredible. So you can listen to this again and get those down, and I think we can put them in the show notes of our YouTube channel if you're looking at them. And they were phenomenal. So yeah, I'm going down that road. Do you want to do another
I want to talk
YouTube
about
thing?
Well, I want to talk about the thing I was going to talk about because that was more
okay, yeah, go ahead.
But I just need to reiterate. I don't think all theories are dumb. I don't think theorists are bad. I think that, first of all, stop using parallels to prove theories. Parallels are cool for analysis, but for prediction, they're useless because you can call anything a parallel of anything, and anything can be paralleled in any number of ways. Stop using parallels for prediction. Only use them for analysis, please. Please, they are an analytical tool, not a predictive one. And then second of all, the reason the Lafitte theory in particular I don't like is because if you're theorizing, you need to remember the themes of a series. Themes are important. Themes are what make stories work, and One Piece is one of the most thematically brilliantly well-written pieces of fiction I've ever experienced. So the idea that it would betray its own themes feels really, really unfair to me. So I just encourage people when they're listening to theories, try to think of if they're in line with the themes of a series. The Kraken, the Secret Brothers, all of that could be, but I don't think there's any world where the Lafitte theory works with the themes of One Piece when Blackbeard is hyped up as such a mirror to Luffy. Like, you don't make a character of this much ambition and autonomy be a puppet in a series about ambition and autonomy. That's just really, really against what One Piece is about. Yeah, he's not.
Hey.
Yeah. Anyways, here's what I want to talk about. Why does it matter that the thing Blackbeard cares about as an ambitious crew? It's simple. This is a world where ambition is power. So he makes his entire plan about breaking into Impel down and breaking people out and making them loyal to him by proving he's strong enough that they can benefit from lumping in their sum with him. However, I came up with a realization while talking to Mama Drock on the phone today that's incredible. There is something that Luffy has that's better. Okay, personal ambition in One Piece is almost always personal ambition is something that comes from inherited will. Someone inspired you and you carry on their dream with you and you push it forwards. I think Blackbeard's will is inherited, and I think most of his crew is probably the same way, where what they want is someone's dream that they have passed on, or a perversion of it because they're evil bastards, so of course it is. Now, Blackbeard's crew understand that you need people to push you forwards. You need to rely on others to accomplish what you want. So they are all working together in a mutual exchange of bettering each other transactionally. Now, I've realized something else. Not only does it make sense that Blackbeard's crew might betray him at the end, whereas Luffy's won't, Luffy's crew will be stronger. Remember when Mama Drock realized haki was a thing, but didn't have a word to it, where she said the crew willed themselves to be stronger? When was it? It was the sea train. Why is that important? It's important because it happened after they found out Robin had given up on her dream, her inherited will. And the Straw Hats, loving and caring about Robin, carried her inherited will with them, making its strength their own. All of the Straw Hats are going to be stronger than the Blackbeard pirates, because while the Blackbeard pirates are being encouraged to have ambition and dreams of their own and chase their dreams and be powerful pirates who will put their will upon this planet, the Straw Hats aren't just wielding their own drive and ambition and will as a weapon. They are wielding each other's. They are carrying the weight of each other's will and making each other's will their own strength. And because of that, Blackbeard's crew can never hope to reach the power that the Straw Hats can.
And that will is projected. When I talked to you earlier about how things in the stories are projected and telescoped, that was one of those things. Right from Luffy's backstory from childhood, he would say, I need to get stronger. I need to get stronger so no one can be taken from me. I need to get stronger so no one I love is hurt. And then what does he say every time there's a problem? No, I need to get stronger. And then when he very first uses level 2, he said, I realized a while back that when I lost these people that I was going to need to make it so I could never lose them again. And then boom, he creates level 2 and level 3, which is hilarious. And so that is an example of the will and using the will to help others and to help the chosen family and the need to let others' will be followed, that they become stronger.
Exactly. And I think that to me is so important for how things are going to play out in the future. It's so essential to think about for me that the reason that Blackbeard is never going to be able to achieve what the Straw Hats can is that they carry each other's dreams and ambitions. And it works so perfectly that the first time you noticed haki was when the Straw Hats were carrying Robin's will.
Exactly. And so it was also when Nami said, it wasn't just on the sea train. It was when Nami said, we need to go get Robin. Now that we know what the truth is, nothing can stop us.
Yes, because they were carrying their allies' will and it was literally empowering them.
Exactly.
Because this is a series about ambition powering you. And they carried each other's ambition because they care about them. And while Blackbeard wants a powerful, self-driven crew because he knows haki comes from dreams, he cares about dreams so fucking much. He knows people are only powerful if they believe in something and want something. That's his entire ethos. However, he doesn't understand that people will be so much stronger if they carry each other's dreams and their own, instead of only benefiting each other's dreams transactionally. And that's so cool to the themes of the series. You like the idea of a devil fruit that connects to another being able to absorb the other. So if Marco had eaten the fruit already has a power over fire, be able to absorb and expand what his power set is. Weird. I could see that. Blackbeard, will Blackbeard be the final opponent for Luffy, or will it be the final war versus the world government? I honestly don't know. I think it's Blackbeard. I've been trying to figure it out, and I go back and forth on this a lot, whether it's Blackbeard or the world government. I think there's going to be a penultimate fight, that's government, and then an ultimate fight, that's Blackbeard. My current leaning is the same, and I think while Luffy's fighting the world government, I think that Blackbeard might kill Shanks. And I know we all love Shanks, but the problem is, I hate your idea. Really is, and I love Shanks, that the series has gone out of its way to connect Blackbeard and Shanks to the point that there is no way they won't face each other, and the mentor doesn't kill the big bad guy. That's not how stories work. And I don't think that Blackbeard's coming out of it unharmed. What I think is going to happen is the pirate with an eye patch that Oda's been waiting to show us is going to be Blackbeard, and he's going to lose an eye killing Shanks. But I don't think the mentor figure gets away with killing the big bad. It doesn't happen. So I thought about it a lot, about what the end fight is going to look like, because I've already said that I think that Luffy is going to die. And I realized that I thought that Luffy was going to die at the end of the story when I was watching just before Impel Down. Mm-hmm. And then I decided, okay, what is it going to look like at the end? The way that it makes it the most interesting at the end is if Luffy, his crew, and all the other people that they gain on side, the emperors, anyone else, have an ultimate, but it's going to be a penultimate battle against the government. And you're like, yes, they're right there. They're at the edge of the One Piece, and then Blackbeard gets in the way at the last second, because it feels very similar to that Kuma moment where they were like, yay, we had this huge fight. We got oars. He's down. We did everything. We're amazing. And then boom, Kuma. And they're like, that's not fair. And it feels like it's going to be a really similar end moment. And that's kind of why I feel like that's going to happen. So I have different ideas on the Luffy is going to die front, which crush my soul. One of them I'm hoping for, the one I'm really hoping for, is that they actually are going to show us Luffy getting treasure, et cetera, and then going back and paying all the people back who he said, I owe you treasure, throughout his childhood and other times, and getting to say goodbye to people. But I really do feel like it's going to be a very similar death to the way that our good friend Goldie Roger died, that Luffy using level 2 and 3 and the other thing, and again, when he was in Impel Down and had 10 years of his life taken away, that Luffy, in order to get this ultimate goal, is actually ending his body's ability to regenerate and live a long life. And he said it through this entire, up to the point I've read, which is just at the time skip now. He said it so many times that it feels like he's warning us. It's a projection. And I feel like it makes perfect sense, because Oda is a man who has harmed his health to do this series. To push himself the way he has damaged his human body. And I think that is because, this is going to get emotional, I think that's because he understands that the character he has written is written to be who you have to be to change the world. And I think Oda wants to be a man who will change the world with his story. And I think because of that, he has accepted that he is actually giving his life to change the world by telling this story. And I don't think a person like that is going to pull back. But I think in the same way that he is going to honestly have Luffy live on forever by us remembering him, he is going to live on forever because we are never going to forget Eiichiro Oda's contribution to this world. You're killing me, man. I cried when I said it. It's sad. It is too sad. You're the worst. I honestly feel like that Oda is walking in the shoes of a giant, that Osamu Tezuka is a person who actually brought back and gave Japan manga shortly after World War II, when he was just a little bit older. And Oda has talked about him, and it was talking about Oda talking about how much he admires him and how he was such a hard worker, et cetera, et cetera. And you talked about how
actually it's because of Osamu Tezuka that Oda works too hard and that manga artists weren't asking for enough money, et cetera, et cetera. But it's interesting because I think that people like that do feel like they are telling the history of their country, and they are telling theories on politics and ideals, and that people see it as just a little rollicking adventure pirate thing from the West, because Western people aren't trained to read into things the way that Japanese people are trained. And I 100% believe this, because I was listening to a podcast about Japanese culture, and they were talking about even today, you would hire a really good florist and you would tell them the exact message that you were trying to tell, and that florist would pick very specific, careful flowers and colors, etc., to tell a message that other people would never know from any other nation, but Japanese people understand the layered meaning behind it. And picking the wrong florist can end up ending your career if the wrong thing was sent, or sending the wrong message to your loved one, etc. And so I started to think about a society that is built on so many layers, and they feel like secrets because they're secrets to everyone who isn't Japanese. And so I started to think about what a great freaking vehicle this is to have so many different messages come down, and what it looks like to be an Oda and be creating this odyssey that is so freaking deep, so above the world, and balancing between deeply adult themes and childlike innocence and adventure. And how this is absolutely one of the most magical pieces I've ever seen. What, like, beyond almost any other narrative I've ever seen written.
It's hard to express how great it is, and it makes sense that this would be the work of a man's life, that this would be a man putting literally everything he is into his craft. That's the only way you could make something like this. And it's so funny that it is at the same time a dumb comic about pirates, but it really is both things. Again, Oda is a genius because of his ability to write two contrasting things that don't seem like they fit together. Holy shit, I should have brought that up when I said Blackbeard was a coward and was both brave and smart. Whatever. And
I don't understand how anyone can see it any other way. Like, there are, like, I'm brave, but I'm going to run the shit away from things I shouldn't fight. Mm-hmm. And I'm smart, but I'm going to do dumb shit. Like, that's just human, right? Like, I'm a pretty clever person who does a lot of dumb shit. And I'm a pretty brave person, but I'll be damned if I'm going to go outside at my house at night alone, because we've had cougars here. So I don't walk around alone on our mountain. So, like, you can be brave and smart, but there's other parts to it. Being brave and smart also means that it doesn't mean that is a perpetual you.
I'm really looking forward to getting to do more of these as we go, these character deep dives, because I think there's not enough space in the One Piece fan base online at the moment doing like philosophical and psychological deep dives on a character. And I think the two of us together, especially since you teach philosophy and psychology and I'm a writing major, I think doing thematic, psychological, philosophical deep dives is something we're very equipped for as a duo.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay, I want to look at another one now.
Okay.
This person said, hi, Mama. In the video of Amazon Lily, you talked about how haki can be used in different ways. My question is, do you believe the poneglyphs can be covered in a kind of haki power?
Ooh, weird.
Yeah, so I started to think about what that means and why somebody would... Yes.
So maybe they just have like crazy armament haki permanently on them, but like, how long is armament haki supposed to stay on something? We know that it's not immediately gone or the arrows wouldn't work, but how long can it stay?
Yeah, and so then that was that question that I asked before, like, how far away does a person need to be and have haki still work, and how long can it stay on an object, and can it change it? Because I believe that the food that Sanji is learning to cook
is your theory,
is imbued with haki. And if it is, what does that do to a person? And when digested, does it flow into them? And does it change the way that they act? Like, how does it change them? Can you heal somebody from the inside using haki in that way? So that's an interesting thing that this person came up with. I think maybe you could have haki on the poneglyphs. The question be why? So then I wonder, like, do you have a projection of something that Goldie Roger wanted to be known? and he imbued and created messages within the hockey. I don't know.
So
that's not a terrible thought.
Poneglyphs are from longer ago. My thinking is right that I think you can permanently imbue something, probably, but like I think inherited will is real. Like it is a real force of hockey, and I think the reason Goldie Roger changed the world is literally passing on his will to hundreds of people who wanted to chase freedom the way he had. And I don't know what the process is, but I think there has to be an incredible want, an incredibly meaningful want to have something be permanent in that way. And I think it says something that the poneglyphs were made with an incredible desire for the future to be able to carry it for that long, if that's what's protecting them.
Yeah, I would agree. So this person asked, what was your favorite comedy moment? Theirs is Luffy pushing the zombie back down. So everyone who's watching this on YouTube, put your favorite comedy moment down too in the comments, because the comedy moments in this are gold. And
Nico, I 100%, by the way, want to do these videos for every emperor, because all of the emperors are slept on.
Agree.
Every emperor is slept on. And I will give them their time in the sun.
So I wonder, what is your favorite comedy moment, Drock?
Mine is actually also a zombie joke, but it's a different zombie joke, where I loved when Luffy said, Luffy was like, oh my god, an old man with terrible wounds. And the crew was like, Luffy, that's a zombie. And later, I fucking love it so much when he's like, no, oh my god, an old man with terrible wounds. And the crew's like, Luffy, that's a zombie. And he goes, no, I'm an old man with terrible wounds.
No, I'm an old man with terrible wounds.
Fucking, so what a great bit. That's so funny. That's so good.
That is awesome. God, I was trying to think about what my favorite, I mean, I hate to say this, but I do love when Luffy's like, no, and pushes the zombie back into the ground.
It is one of the funniest moments in the series. It's incredible.
It's ridiculous.
It's really early on, and it's in my least favorite arc. A joke that'll always stand out to me is, how did I not get north? I ran in a coldish direction. Holy fuck, that's good.
I love that one. That was my favorite part of
Syrup Village.
I think everything else was meh, but that was freaking delightful. Do you have any theories about the Will of D?
I think it is a fate.
Do I have any?
My thing is, if my way is that I think it's fate, and I think it's the D clan's drive for freedom. That's my guess.
I do have theories. I have a theory that I've said before a little bit, that I think that it's attached to the missing 100 years or the missing people. Story is told by the victors, and I feel like the people who have a D in their name could be part of what is missing from the 100 years.
I like it.
The people missing.
Now, what's fun is both of the things we said are not at all mutually exclusive.
No, they're not.
Like, those could easily both be true.
Red Potato wants me to do a top 30 character list, and they've put it here.
They
like
mentioned it
1,000 times.
They mentioned it earlier to me as well, that they want for when we do our next recap stream for you to do that, where we normally, as part of like doing tier lists, we just pop that up.
Yeah, I would agree.
Our top 30 characters would look so fucking different. I'm excited. I'll do mine at the end when you're caught up, and we can look at how obscenely different they are.
We also have another idea that I think is really cool, and I'll mention it here for one of the very first times. So I was thinking about how Drock and I, we don't get to have an equal conversation here, right? Because he has information that I don't have, but both of us have a longing to break down theories and to break apart a story and a narrative in an interesting way. And I'm already noticing when I went back and started to look at chapter 1 again, like there's so much shit that I missed that now I could pick up so much more, and I'm going to. And now I've stopped reading from back there because now it's ruining it.
But not
so
only
I
that,
suggested to Drock.
Okay, you go.
I suggested to Drock that when we get to the end, when I'm caught up and we're week to week, well, week to week isn't going to take as long. I mean, I'll be able to go into it much deeper because it's one freaking
It's so
chapter.
oversaturated. I want to do week to week. I want to do weekly readings of chapters live on stream with you for patrons, but I don't want to post those to YouTube, honestly. Like, I don't want to talk about weekly chapter reviews with YouTube. I want to do more interesting content than that, which is why your idea I love as a first thing to do when we catch up.
So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go back to the beginning and we're going to reread it, but I'm going to reread it with all the knowledge with Drock. We're going to have open conversations. We're going to pull it the shit apart, and we're going to invite people from other One Piece YouTubes to come into our chat and have conversations about their favorite chapters and arcs.
So we're going to because then we don't have to worry about spoilers, so we can have other YouTubers on to talk about their opinions and have interviews about it. I'm so excited for this idea. Yes. I think it's going to be so much fun to have people on and as we go back through the series and just talk to YouTubers about their
because also it'll be so open and we won't have to worry about anyone spoiling shit in the chat. And we can just have a big open ass talk with people who are also really into One Piece. And for me, that's that's everything, because I feel so shackled by not having the information yet. And this is fun and I love it. And I would never give up this community. But what a great moment and what a great reward for us all to go back to the beginning together and get to read it from a completely different standpoint and bring in other people and say, what arc or what chapters do you love? Let's have you on as a guest.
I just realized something. Actually, straight up, if people want to reach out to other YouTubers and as an ambassador thing and mention this to anybody, not just if you're a fan, I'm saying if you are connected, if you have done work as an editor or artist or just are friends with them or know a friend of theirs and want to send out the message, I don't just want to do fan spam. If you know any other One Piece YouTubers, ask them which part of the story they'd like to come on for. It's not going to be for another 7 or 8 months probably until we're caught up, unfortunately. But once we do, we want to start having people on. Tekking and Murph, absolutely. I know he's contentious, but I love Grand Line Review. Ohara Archer, not Ohara, but Ohara Archer, I would love to have on. He's my absolute favorite theory dude.
Yes. Okay, I think what provides most insight is that you should go down the route of learning about Oda's writing process. Yeah, I absolutely will. A huge Reverie stream. Somebody's told me about Reverie a little bit.
Oh, Mugiwara no Goofy I would have on too. Melon T, I've heard great things, but I've never seen her videos.
Jay's agenda discussion with Mama One Piece. I'd love Murphy.
Yeah, Gavin would be great too.
I agree.
Gavin for episode 2 might be fun because Gavin was the first other creator that showed up in our stream. And the first people who mentioned us.
Was. And he came in the absolute wrong stream.
Yeah, to not get the vibe. It was a fun stream, but the tier list streams don't get you the vibe of what we do.
No, not at all. It would be like choosing this as your first stream.
Yeah, and granted, honestly, if you did, I think this one's a banger. I think this is going to be a great video when it's edited.
I agree, but I just think it isn't the usual of what we're doing. And more than a tier list is just a tier list. That's a very different thing. Yeah. So but I think, guys, that it would be incredible because I'm also going to get to look at other people's thinking now. I'm going to get to go into the cheat area. I'm going to get to have all these conversations. I'm going to be surrounding myself with ideas, which is just going to be a whole different level of talking. And then we will be able to have these phenomenal open-ass chats. And somebody here said, spoiler alert, but they love an open-ass chat. I just love that. So yeah, that's where we're going. People have asked us. That's one of the questions that got deleted on YouTube, which is why I brought it up. And they said, what are you guys planning on doing?
Yeah, I'm very excited. The Patreon is going to be so interesting. We have some great plans. I'm going to hope to get that up this week. We could do a theory review stream, some of the most popular ones once we got up. That could be kind of fun. Joy Girl is also cool. Look, Grand Line Review does have an ego, but so the fuck do I. Look, did you see how many theories I dunked on today? Here's where I'm at, right? There's a level of ego that's a problem, but I don't inherently hate someone for having an ego because I would so much rather someone have self-confidence than be self-deprecating. It's just a better way to be. And honestly, if you're a presenter, I think having a bit of an ego is a good thing because why are you sharing your opinion if you don't believe your opinion is worthwhile?
You were forced to by your son?
Yeah, you need a bit of an ego, but
also,
I think it's genuinely good because I think you come across as a bad presenter if you don't believe your opinions are good. Like, you have to actually have confidence in your opinions to present them well. His thumbnails are too clickbaity. That's true.
Just so you know, how many coins do you need to delete art? I know I can't delete art. It's
already happened, yeah. So we can't do it now.
I know that.
I think it's is it 12,000 or 20,000, guys? 10K? I thought it was 12. Damn.
How much is it? It's 10. I just want to put out there, Drop. I can delete your art twice now.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, confidence and ego are two sides of the same coin, and there is danger there. Like, I think having too much of an ego is a bad thing, but I do think, like, self-confidence is good, and there's definitely a need to walk that line. I want you guys to know, when I'm over the top, I'm the best. That is for the sake of comedy, but I do have genuine confidence in my opinions and think I'm good at analysis. And when I say things like the Lafitte theory is dumb, again, I don't think it's a theory that couldn't work in other series. I just think theories that don't consider the themes of the series they're talking about are starting at the wrong place. Mama, ready for the time skip? It's so excited. The time skip is so good.
You know,
I'm so hyped. That's going to be a Patreon stream. Mama reading it live. It's going to be great.
Which is why you must
need to make the Patreon because you want to start reading again. Yes.
You're killing me, Smalls. I need to read again. I am being punished. It is pure bullshit.
Who's my favorite Blackbeard pirate, excluding Blackbeard himself? Jesus Burgess is so fun. He's just a big wrestler who wants to fight people. That's so fun. I just love him.
Who did you say you love?
Jesus Burgess. Also, his laugh is wee, and that's great.
I don't like him.
Yeah, who's your favorite Blackbeard pirate? Did you know our editor is horny for Doc Q, the sick-looking doctor?
What? What do you mean horny for?
I mean what I say.
Okay.
I don't think
you do. I'm not gonna yuck your yum, but
because it's something that Cricket said in chat once. It's something he has said in chat, so I don't feel like I'm outing anybody with that one. Oh my god, Doc Q's 27? Time took a bat to that man.
Oh god. I am not reading ahead because somebody, Drop, is setting up a Patreon and they're getting my live reaction to the changes.
Yeah, we're going to have live reaction to the post-time skip designs.
So I can't read until that happens. Yeah,
Shiryu is cool. Kid. Van Auger is very interesting, and I like that he talks about fate. Katarina and Devon, I have a weird soft spot for, even though she's just a fucking serial killer. Like, no reason to like that woman, and yet I'm like, kind of cool. She's also one of the she's one of the rare women in One Piece who doesn't look normal, but also doesn't just look like a monster. Like, she's somewhere between, like, she doesn't look like a pretty lady, but she also doesn't have proportions that are completely inhuman. She's just got, like, a big nose and mouth. Like, so she's got a rare design, being a woman in One Piece who looks like that. My least favorite member? Probably Doc Q.
Mine is Doc Q. That one is easy for me.
I don't know.
Okay, let me think. Which one do I like the most?
Chris Moonhand as an ugly woman. She's got a point. I support her in killing everyone prettier than her. Look, I'm sure you're not ugly, but also, damn, that's brutal but based. I remind everyone, based doesn't mean you agree. It means someone speaking their truth, even if it's contentious.
Who is... No, I don't like Lafitte. Who's the dude with the gun and the hat, the pirate sideways hat and the puppy shirt? I think that's my favorite Blackbeard pirate.
He's got a good vibe. He's probably my second favorite.
Yeah, I think that's who... Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Why did Twitch need permission to show ugly woman? I don't know. It's considered a blocked term. I allowed that one when I saw it, but why the fuck is ugly woman blocked?
Well, because probably people are saying you're an ugly woman to people on the Twitch because they're mean and rude.
Probably. There are a lot of people who make their career being made fun of by chat.
Another question that people ask me is, do I think that One Piece could end up in university as a course? A million thousand percent.
I could teach a course on One Piece. I've actually thought about how I would do it a lot. The problem is,
I've started to think about how I would do it.
The homework for it would be so difficult because you can't make someone read that much material easily. Like, that course load is insane. You would have to find a way to just talk about part of it, but like, how the fuck do you do that and still do it justice? It's so hard to think about.
Well, the problem that I have is I don't know what genre I would put it in, because I thought about using it in history, because since I started to see all the historical reference,
I think it's a lit course.
And
I think it's just a lit course.
Yeah, no, I would use it as a history piece as well. Since I've started to see the way that he's using history inside of it, it's one area that I might put it in. I might actually use it as a history thing in a modern culture in Japan. You could also just do modern culture in Japan as a sociology course. Then you could put it in a lit. You could use it in so many pieces. I'm not going to lie.
They're asking what One Piece character you look most like, and that's hard.
That I look most like?
Yeah.
No, I'm a secret. Sorry, baby. We're not at 150,000. Yeah, I'm a secret.
For me, Marco the Phoenix, but after his like 4th appearance where he starts looking handsome. Not early Marco.
I like that you're like, let me just put this out there. I'm hot. I'm not taking that guy.
Hey, look. There were 2 separate people in chat who said, "Oh no, he's hot," when I strutted in with the fit. So, chat's backing me up on this one.
Okay. Philosophy of Sanji. And what do you mean there, YT? What? And I did. NDID. Static Drock, you're absolutely killing it today. Drock is always killing it.
This is kind of a fit. Oh, we got the nipple out by accident. Oh, well. I don't think that men's nipples are banned on Twitch yet, but...
Murphy is the great series going about in real life pirates that inspired One Piece characters. Yeah,
it's really cool. Good. I think you would really like Murph's content. Yeah. But I think you would...
I think I would too.
I think you would struggle with it a bit because of the part of you that's a contrarian that doesn't like how often you've been told that.
That's not a lie. I have to just get over that, though.
Yeah. Give Bellamy a treat. Okay.
I have
to. Here we go, buddy. I'm Canadian. Nipples are allowed. That's great to know.
Canadian nipples are allowed.
Mwah. Good baby.
Boy.
It's the boy. Okay. Goodbye, my boy. Apparently, you give Dr. Correja vibes.
Whoa, rude.
Yeah, Mama Drock's face does look younger than Dr. Correja's, I will say.
That's a understatement.
Yeah.
I'm old burnt out apples have a younger face than Dr. Correja.
Damn.
I'm sorry, Dr. Correja. It's not a lie. I mean, your body's lit, but your face is certainly taking a beating.
She hasn't been taking her Shocky skincare routine. The fuck is Shocky
She is a
doing?
spry 114 years older. Now she's 142. So yeah, she's doing well for that.
Yeah.
A Shocky Willie's wife mixed with Robin. Yeah. Yeah.
God, Shocky is a cool character. No, I wish we knew anything about her other than Rayleigh's girlfriend. Oh, this is gonna look so sick, guys. This is gonna look so sick. Holy shit.
It is one of my favorites. And it'll definitely be one of your favorites since you're in love with the dude.
Oh, he's a look. Anyone who doesn't think Blackbeard is great, we just did a whole video about why you should. So I don't know where you're at. Where you're at in your steez, but
how long have you been drawing digitally now?
Long time. Over a decade for sure.
Digitally? Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
Oh, easily.
Oh, yeah. Somebody did ask top 5 favorite One Piece parties. I can't name off 5 right now.
5 One Piece
parties. My favorite One Piece parties are the 2 parties, though, from Skypiea.
They're good. I've at this point of the series, my favorite parties haven't happened yet, but I have a soft spot for the post Arlong Park party. It's the first big one we had, and it felt special.
It was special, but the Skypiea parties are my favorite.
It's hard to beat Skypiea. Wolves showed up to those ones.
Yeah, I also just loved, I have such a sweet soft spot for Skypiea, and I can't believe some people don't like it.
It's worse in the anime. The skip Skypiea segment of the fan base are anime people. That's not a manga opinion usually.
Okay, because that blows my mind. I think that Jaya going into Skypiea is some of the most incredible writing and layered messaging I have ever seen.
I'm so curious. There's an arc post time skip that gets a bad rep with some people, but that some people love. And the big thing about it is it's not great shonen writing in a lot of ways, but it's thematically so rich, and I'm excited to see what you think about it.
And you know what else? People were asking me, it got erased as well, to tell them my favorite arc so far, and don't say anything, Druck. Let's see if people can guess. What are you guys in the chat? What do you think my favorite arc has been so far?
Let's see.
You guys take a guess. Laughter, Jaya, Skypiea, Jaya. Long ring, down. Goes, Oda, Jacob, I think Mama's favorite is Impel Down. Yeah, okay. It was Impel Down. Impel Down is my favorite arc we've had so far, which was unexpected for me. I did not think Impel Down would be my favorite arc. I was a little surprised when I went into it and I saw how dark it was. I was like, oh, and then when I read it, 100%, I was like, this is peak writing.
It's brilliant. It's not my favorite, but I understand what you see in it in a big way.
I cannot tell you how much I love it. He layered so many secrets in there, so many myths, so many legends, so many people, so many reconnections. It was just, every moment in Impel Down was just another moment that I was like, God damn, I can't believe you did that. It also has like the crushing moments. It has everything.
It does something for you in particular, I think, which is you've been trying to look at the mythology in One Piece for a long time, and it's our first direct interaction with mythology in One Piece, and you get to see, oh, mythology in this series is going to look a way that you can't really expect.
Yeah.
It's going to be here, and it's going to be literal and not at the same time. Like, I feel like it's a series, or it's an arc that said more to you and the way you've been looking at the series than any other.
And it is completely changed the way that I've seen Luffy as a sun god.
Because that's still a thing you believe in. You just no longer know what that looks like because you've seen what the underworld looks like, and it's not what the underworld usually looks like in media.
Exactly. And so suddenly I started to look at Luffy's sun. It also made me look, because I still think the mixture of all the crew members is going to come together. I mean, I don't know if Robin's going to participate because it's dehumanizing,
Wapple.
Oh, God. But I still see that. Yeah, I see you, Kat, too. You will be. But I still see that as a thing that's going to occur. And now I'm like, okay, what is it going to look like, and how is it going to happen? I know it's going to happen. I know I'm going to be right about it, because I just feel like if that's available within Japanese lore, why wouldn't you? Right? You got it. Wapple. Frickin' Wapple. I passed one of my students in my class who reads One Piece. I killed them. And now they're like,
shit.
What does it say? Will you watch any of Murphy's videos in the near future? I'm not going to watch anything until I'm out of this.
Yeah, until I'm not even other people's first time read throughs of arcs she's already been through.
No, because people are going to come up with ideas that I wouldn't have had on my own. And originally when we started this, I think that I probably would have, and we would have said it's not a big deal because, who cares? I wasn't coming on here to be a prediction person. But now that I'm doing so much prediction, I would steal the genius of Murph and everyone else's mind, and I would use it to my advantage, and it would help to make me think in directions I might not have thought of on my own. And that's kind of what we're trying to avoid. And then when I come out, then I'm going to eat all of the information like a greedy little information monster. And I'm gonna watch everybody's things, and I am still gonna like Murph despite the fact that she's like the Titanic movie for me, and everyone is being like, you gotta watch Murph, she's the greatest. I will still enjoy her, even though I'm a contrary little jerk. So yeah, I'm gonna thank you, Aesthetic. So yeah, we're gonna eat it all up once we come out of here, but I'm trying to stay true to just having my own days. Chapter ideas. Chapter 0. When are we doing chapter 0?
You can read that whenever you want. I mean, we can read it live on stream if you want.
I can't get it. How do I get it?
Didn't we say that you were going to read it live on stream today?
Maybe.
Last time we promised that, yeah. Someone sent a link last time, but it was covered in viruses. Does anyone have like a non-virusy, not fucked up link to chapter 0 they can throw in the Discord?
Yeah, because somebody tried to give it to me last time and it didn't work out, and I can't look things up on my own. I don't look up One Piece content. People are always like, oh, just go find this. And I'm like, I don't look up One Piece content.
Okay, but actually this is going to be rad.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Prefer sub or dub?
You've
For
seen
media?
a little bit
I
of
don't know.
each, so
I have seen a little bit of each. And you know what, Kevin? I was thinking about it because people
get in wars.
they've got some strong ass opinions about this, Kevin. It's fucking wild.
They're both,
I don't. I like them
they're
both.
good. They're fine.
I really actually don't prefer one, which is really interesting because I started to wonder that actually, because somebody else said to me, like, which do you prefer, sub or dub? And I was thinking, like, both of them they both have different reasons why I like them so much. Like, I love a sub title because I love hearing the original Japanese in it. It gives it a really interesting feeling. I love a dub because, you know, that's what I speak. And so seeing the characters moving around in my own language is a different type of palette. I actually don't prefer one, though, to the other. I like them both. It also helps that despite the fact that your dad's relatives are all English, he can't understand a frickin' English
so you're
accent.
used to watching subtitles everything.
Anytime something has a fecking English accent, the man puts a subtitle on it, and then I stop watching it. So yeah, that probably helps me. But no, honestly, I don't have a preference. I can't enjoy being in the game. Okay, media chat. Somebody sent me a thing.
I think they're both good. I've seen a lot of people be like, I mostly like the dub, but I can't stand Luffy. I honestly think Colleen Clinkenbeard's Luffy is phenomenal. The only thing is, like, I think she acts the action better than she acts the than comedic scenes, which the other thing is, it's really hard to compare to Mayumi, I think is the name of the woman who voices Luffy in Japanese. She's genuinely one of the best voice actors in the world, but I think as far as action scenes, Colleen competes. She's fantastic. Like, I think she's truly
I don't have
wonderful.
anything. I don't have chapter 0 yet. Nobody has sent it to me, and I'd like to read it.
No. The raspy voice, I get people don't like it, but I think she fucking kills it. I genuinely think Colleen is a treasure. I think her Luffy is brilliant.
Who doesn't like a raspy voice?
People often don't like when they're voice acting young men, do a really raspy voice to get any amount of depth. I think the Luffy voice is brilliant. I think Colleen does a great job. She also loves the job. Like, she puts so much work into it and has a deep love for voicing Luffy.
Is it chapter 565.5 I'm reading?
Robin's VA, I think, is perfect. She's fantastic.
Hey, Drock, 565.5?
Yeah, that's another name for it, I think.
Okay. Am I watching it or reading it?
I think you're reading it.
Okay. Get out of here, you rat bastard. Oh my God, wait a minute. Where does this come in? You
this one's back in time, I think. This chapter, I'm pretty sure, is back in time.
And when did Oda make this?
Around Marineford, I think.
And where did he put it?
It was released as like bonus extra content.
I have no words for
to
this.
Hype up a new movie. Why? What? How does it open? I actually haven't read it, so describe everything. I need to read it.
Here we go.
I own it, and I've yet to read it for whatever reason. I've just never gotten around to it.
Okay. I'm gonna cough, and then here we go.
Seriously, if people need to believe that Colleen Clinkenbeard is a good Luffy, watch the English dub of the Jet Gatling. It's literally perfect. I watch that scene when I want to get hyped up. It's amazing. She kills it.
Are you ready?
Yep.
Marine headquarters. About 3 years before the Great Age of Pirates, Marine headquarters. Admiral Kong. This is before Luffy was born. We see a young Garp. Roger and the Golden Line have made contact off the coast of Ed War in the New World. There is, wait, Garp. We're not through yet. Maybe you aren't, but I am. Garp-san, did you turn down yet another promotion? You're so cool. A promotion just means less freedom. To do what I like. Otsura-chan, if you are heading out, give me a ride. You don't have any orders to ship you out, do you? I don't like letting you on board. You always destroy the ship. Don't say that. I have to bring down Roger myself. Garp, Shiki is my business. You stay out of it. Oh, don't worry. I'll give you all the credit. That's not what I meant. Whoa, Admiral Sengoku. What?
Why did I zoom out? Anyways, keep going. Sorry.
Whoa, Admiral Sengoku and Vice Admiral Garp heading out together? Well, it's Roger after all. Garp-san can't let go of that one. The New World. Captain Roger, our lives are more important. It's Buggy. Just do as the Golden Line asks for the time being. Little Shank says, you can't die no matter how many times you get stabbed, so why do you care? I have all sorts of weaknesses, you dummy. That's it. Crocus-san, how is the captain doing? He shouldn't fight, shouldn't he? As his doctor told him he shouldn't do it. Sorry, but he's in great shape. Just give up. We've been with Roger for ages and haven't been able to stop him. Rayleigh-san, just have faith in Tom's ship and the Uro Jack, son. Roger's time is almost up. Ooh, who is this? Is that Blackbeard? I think I just saw your dude. Younger? He wasn't better looking. How many times have we had this talk, Roger? We had our problems when we were young, but that is all water under the bridge now. You know the location of the weapon that can destroy the world, and I've got the manpower. Plus, I've got the perfect plan that I've spent years working on. We'll be able to take over the world in no time. Be my right-hand man, Roger. I have no desire to rule Shiki. What good is a pirate if he can't do what he wants? You can pressure me all you want. Fascinating that this whole thing is about freedom.
Positive and negative freedom.
Like the difference between positive and negative freedoms. Super fascinating. But I will decline your offer, Golden Lion. Stop it, Captain. How many ships do you think there are? Out of my way. So your answer is that you want to die today. No, my answer is that I'm going to crush you all. The clash between Shiki, the Golden Lion, commander of the largest pirate fleet, and Gold Roger, who would later be known as the Pirate King, came to be known as the Battle of Ed War. Roger's ship was in a desperate situation, but was saved by the raging weather. Meanwhile, half of Shiki's fleet sank. In addition, Shiki had an unfortunate accident, and Roger escaped the battle and was declared a draw. How's the wheel? Oh, Dr. Ndogo. I was unable to remove it. It's in his head, just so you know. Drock, the wheel is embedded in his skull.
Yeah, funny enough, this is the one movie I've seen. It was the one that this was for, even though I didn't read the comic. So I do know about Shiki.
Okay. It's in there pretty deep. He might die if you try to remove it. I see. Oh well, these things happen. Actually, I think getting a wheel stuck in your head during a battle is pretty rare. I'm surprised you're still alive. Well, they do compare me to a lion, after all. Huh. What's that chicken doing here? That's you. He was looking in a mirror. Ta-da! About 2 years later, Roger finally did the impossible and conquered the Grand Line. They started to call Gold Roger the Pirate King. Then his crew mysteriously disappeared. And a year later, news of his arrest broke. The world was in shock. Roger's captured? It's a trustworthy source. Don't lie to me. Who's going to believe that? You know full well what sort of a man he is. Boss, please calm down. Then stop lying about it. Boss, where are you going? Intruder alert. The location is the Marineford Plaza. How many are there? Is it really him? Just one. It's the Golden Line. Some like you could never capture Roger. I know how strong he is. The Pirate King. So what? If he joined forces with me, he could have taken over the world. We couldn't get along, but we lived through the same age. If he is here, bring him out. If you're going to kill him, let me do it. Admiral Sengoku. Roger is the Pirate King. If you fought him, he'd be able to win and escape. His execution is scheduled for a week from now in East Blue, where he was born. In Logtown, the town of beginnings. Vice Admiral Garp. Roger's death will probably break the hearts of many pirates. The legend of Roger the Pirate King will end in that week established of the East Blue Sea. Don't make me laugh. That's the worst humiliation for that piece of shit. Oh, this swears.
Yeah. I guess this is one of the swearing ones.
You may call it weak, but East Blue is a symbol of peace. Don't interfere with this execution. And then they all show strong, strong faces. There you go. Those are strong, strong faces. Garp, Sengoku, and the Golden Line. These three fought until Marineford was half destroyed. Yep, it is half destroyed. What the hell? Hey, get the wounded out of here. And the Pirate Golden Line was sent to Impel Down. 1 week later. Did I see him when we were in Impel Down?
No, he is famous. Never mind. You keep going.
1 week later, the Great Age of Pirates began with Roger's death. Buggy is bawling his eyes. Oh, baby Hawkeye is crying. Well, he's pensive, not crying. Dante Flamingo is there. He sucks. He sucks here so much, no one can even believe it.
God.
Crocodile is there. We only see the back of him. Then we see Morai, who sucks and sucks so much you can't believe it. Oh, there's Red Hair Shanks in his hat, and there's Dragon in his great cloak. Oh, I'm so excited to see these guys. All the young warlords rocking it out. Dragon's looking east. Yeah, good call. The next day, the news spread around the world, giving people a premonition of the turbulent times to come. Then we see a woman looking off into the distance from the back. I know that's going to be Ace's mom. Oh, and she's holding her tummy, and we can kind of see that. Such bullshit. A terrible age has begun. Guess there'll be no more pirates, Omo. They won't attack us here. Ah! Did you hear the news, Tanjin? Someday, I'll be the world's stilts champion. Captain Cricket, did you hear Roger left an amazing treasure behind when he died? Romantic, isn't it? We must become strong, stronger than justice. And that is somebody with a hat just like our bro, but I thought he had blonde hair, and this kid seems to not have blonde hair.
What kind of hat is it?
Interesting. It's the top hat that our bro wore. Oh, it's Lucci. Good call. Thank you. We must become strong, stronger than justice. Ha! Oh my, what on earth is this child? This is a cursed child, the curse of the age of pirates. Goo goo gaga. It's Sanji's lookalike, our handsome boy. As a baby. Poor kid. Aw, poor Duval. The great age of pirates. Can everyone become a pirate now? If you're not really, really strong, you can't join a pirate crew. Aw, and that's a bunch of girls standing around talking, and I'm trying to figure out who they all are.
Could just be people from around the world.
People will tell me.
Could be meaningful.
It's the boas. They're right, because it's the pretty, beautiful boa and then her sisters.
That makes sense.
In the undersea prison of Impel Down. Did you hear the big news?
The Pirate King left behind a huge treasure. He died. Level 6. Wow. The age of pirates is here. We've got to get out of here right now. Why did you die, Roger? A new age has begun. The sea belongs to pirates now. Ridiculous. All you selfish idiots out there looking for treasure will only get in the way. A new age, pirates rule the seas. Someday, I'll make you see that. 2 years after Roger's death, the myth of the prison crumbled. Chief, there's trouble. Shiki, the Golden Line, has escaped. Oh yeah, that's right. They talked about him. He flew off. Still somewhere inside. Did he find a way to remove his sea stone shackles? No, sir. He did not remove the shackles. He cut off his own. Oh my God. No. No, he did not.
Shiki ain't going down like that.
My God, man. Oh, I can't even. He's hardcore. Oh, yeah. Just as I said it, Red Potato put up on hardcore. We have to find him. We can't let him get away. Have you seen my 2 swords? They're both famous. Oto and Kagarashi. It's time for a promotion. I mean it, Shiki. Sorry, but I'm going to have to leave. I don't need my feet, though. You can have them. Thanks for the past 2 years. Deputy Magellan, Shiki's here. Help! And so, though the pirate's fangs had been broken once, Shiki escaped. The Golden Line broke out of his cell and once more returned to the seas. Pirate Fleet Admiral Shiki, the Golden Line, becomes the first prisoner to escape Impel down. Okay. Now I have legs. Okay, what the hell has he strapped on? Some weird pointy things. Looks like 2 pirate peg legs. He's just all pegged.
It's swords. It's his swords.
Those are what he put on the bottom when he said, have you seen my swords? We didn't see him putting them on then. Good God. Okay, man. You do you, Swordfoot. That'll make fighting different. Sengoku, here. Sorry to intercept your vacation, Gark, but it's the Golden Line. Yeah, I heard. We'd better be careful. He's a very dangerous man, but he won't make a move just yet. He likes to be thoroughly prepared. Makino, where's Garp? He said he was going to the mountain. Oh, Makino's so little and sweet. Why? It keeps switching pages. Why are you crawling, you brat? Come back here. That looks like baby Luffy. Is that baby Luffy? It can't be because it's not that much younger than Makino.
No, Makino's not his mom, so it can be. She's just the lady who works at the bar.
No.
Oh, it's probably,
she's the bar person, and she's not that much older. It's got to be Ace. Yeah, it is. It's Ace.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Because it's 2.
Man, I should have read this at some point, but I've just never gotten around to it.
Luffy and Ace look so much alike. They really do look like brothers, and I know that was intentional of him to put a little. But yeah, baby Ace looks like what baby Luffy could look like. It's right here. Ace-chan, it's Grandpa Garp. La, 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 la. He's making faces at him. Oh, Garp-san, you're back. I'd hope this child would be able to take over the dojo, but it's a girl. Don't worry, Kwano will be strong. Oh, that's odd. Could it be travelers? I asked a man named Usopp to come. He said that Shank's crew, the Going Merry. Yes, I'd love to build this ship someday. I heard Shiki escaped. If he comes to East Blue, I'll give it to him. We could always count on you, Belmere. This is the saddest little thing going on. These people that I'm seeing. I can't believe people thought that I look like this witch.
Dr. Correa?
All right. Yeah, now I'm seeing your face. Shame on you. Shame on you all. The Golden Line. They call him the Flying Pirate. My kid's blowing bubbles. Damn, another failed experiment. God, he did it again, says Dr. Correa. Your Highness, don't you think that you're going too easy on Walpusama? Yes, I have been worried about him. Nico Robin's here, but she's just a kid, and she's got a bounty. Where did it go? Of 77,900,000 berries on her head, and then it shows little Robin hiding around the corner. New one. Oh, it's the dude stuck inside of the box. Crap, I'm stuck. What happened? Miracle fight. Poor stuck in the box, man. Next panel. Oh, Tom, how's the sea train coming? Oh, it's coming. It's coming. Well, I'm helping out, so it'll be fine, says Frankie. He wants to add weapons. And then we have Laboon. Ah! Sorry, Laboon. I sailed on Roger's ship, and I searched for them, but there's no sign of the Rumba pirates. And now we see... Oh, we see poor Brooke. Bink Saki, 42 degrees. This is tough. 42 degrees is hard. Aw. Oh, I farted. You... Baby Hockey. I'm here, Shaki. Oh, hello, Hachan. Is Rayleigh here? He's inside. Do you want some juice? Sure. Rayleigh! Oh, so you got out, Shiki. But what do you plan to do now? On Whitebeard's ship. So, what do you think of the world without Roger? There's no walls to hold us in anymore. It's your age now, Whitebeard. If you just came here to spout your nonsense, I'll drown you right here and now, Golden Line. I see you're annoying as always. That puts my mind at ease. Next panel. I think I'll lie low for a while, and then I'll show people what a real pirate is like. Are you plotting something again? Merview, a cloudy, unexplored... The page keeps flipping around. Mountain on the Grand Line. Dr. Ndogo, how's the experiment coming? I've made one discovery. It appears that there's a balance between the plants and the animals here. There are many that aren't found elsewhere. Get to the point, Ndogo. How long will my plan take? Well, 10 to 15... Oh. Well, 10 to 15, no, 20 years at least. Okay. All right. We'll carry out my plan in 20 years. And then I will show them hell on earth. And so, 20 years passed. This is where it all begins. Goddamn.
And what's great is that was set up for a non-canon movie, so canonically, Shiki escaped and was like, and I have my plan. And I guess it just didn't come together.
Are we going to get to see it inside of the actual piece? Like, is it going to come back in?
I don't think so.
Does his plan come back in?
I don't think so.
What?
I think it was just for the movie.
No.
I guess in canon, someone other than Luffy stopped his plan.
What? No.
We can watch the movie.
I hope it comes in. It's going to make it really difficult, though, if I watch the movie and I'm guessing things, because I'm going to want to pull things in from it.
Look, there's a chance he'll come back. Like, because, like, he exists as a figure in the past of One Piece. This all happened. It's just wild that in canon, it seems like what happened was he had his big 20-year plan and it just didn't amount to anything.
I can't imagine something like that not coming back. It feels so
but
like
it was set up for a movie. That's why it feels like setup.
Oh, I feel really sad about that.
I really like the sense of motion in this fist.
I did have a prediction of Whitebeard coming back in flashbacks.
You did.
Ding!
What? No. First of all, chapter 0 doesn't count. Second of all, it was at least 3. And third of all, this part doesn't make the YouTube video, and it's not and it's not like a reading episode.
I did say 3
you
times.
You said 3.
Wah, wah, wah.
We should watch the animation of monsters. They animated Oda's one-shot monster. And
but this person said we should do it with our Patreons, and I really think that's a great idea.
That's a good idea. It is canon.
Yeah, okay, let's do a Watch Monsters with Patreon. I think that's fantastic.
This looks
what do you
kind
guys
of nice,
think?
though.
It does. Do you guys think we should do a Watch Monsters with Patreons as well?
We can't stream it to you guys on something. We could be on stream and start it like 3, 2, 1, start with you guys. The Patreon, I'm hoping to launch this next week. That's my goal.
No, it's got to launch within the next few days. I'm losing my mind. I gotta read the manga.
Well, you just read a chapter.
I'm getting shaky hands. I'm getting shaky hands, Drock.
Hands.
I'm getting shaky hands.
They're not aging.
You've gotta let me in, man. I've gotta read, man.
Someone asked, by the way, when's the Buggy video? Guys, when Buggy's interesting enough to be worth talking about for 3 hours.
Look, man, stop changing the subject. Why are we still on here? Get the hell off and make the Patreon. I need to read.
I don't hate Buggy, but like, there was so much philosophy and psychology to talk about with Blackbeard. Buggy doesn't give me that. I don't have that much to talk about.
I honestly feel like you're just trying to, hey, you know what, Mama? I think that you should become addicted to One Piece, and now you're not allowed to read.
Look, we'll head off in a second. I'll do it. I figure we'll end in like 8 minutes, a little bit earlier than we do for a full video.
Yes. And then you'll immediately start Patreoning.
No, I'll like...
And then you'll call me tomorrow and you'll be like, yeah, it's time, let's go.
I'm not going to say immediately, but I will work on it tonight.
You're killing me.
Doesn't this look sick, though?
It really does.
The sub and Tickle to Pickle. That's a funny name. You need to hear what Mama Drock's saying to what comes next. Join the Patreon at a first level tier and for $1, and then you get to be part of the stream where she's gonna be reading it live and reacting to the new Straw Hat designs.
I literally am not allowed to read because I'm reading live with our Patreons.
Yeah, that's why it's special. That's why it's different than normal. Honestly,
and it's going to be on a not Saturday.
I'm so glad that I decided to do the Zehaha smashed by the cracking air. I really love how that looks.
Yeah, it looks amazing. I think it's fantastic.
This is so much fun. I've been looking forward to talking about Blackbeard forever, and I got to do funny beatboxing for a bit, which is going to be hilarious.
Don't put it in as long as it was inside of the happy ass thing.
I don't think it should be in the video. I think it should be a clip that we save for something else. I don't think it should be in the edited video, unfortunately.
We can use it for music for something.
That could be funny. Thank you.
Yeah, it should be its own thing.
Felicie?
Whoa.
Oh, just eat her
Thank
cake.
you very much. God. Just eat her cake.
Yeah.
Hype train!
Oh my god, we got an end of the stream hype train. That's a rarity. Guys, this is rad. I want to do more of these for other characters I think are underrated or who have a lot we can talk about, because I really think if there's anything that the One Piece space is missing right now, it's deep media analysis that the series really deserves, because I think there's enough theorizing, and when I think about the One Piece content that's doing the most for me, right now it's Murph talking about inspirations of characters. And I don't want to do that because that's her thing, and I think she's doing a fine job. So I want us to be doing something fresh, which is deep, psychological, philosophical, thematic dives into a character, and that was so much fun today. Have I thought of selling prints? Yes, but I don't want to yet. It's going to be, you have access to the high-res images as a $3 a month patron, I've decided.
Yeah, don't forget the other part.
What's the other part?
The one with the writing and the telling people of things.
What?
Do I need to tell people what's available on Patreon?
Oh no, that was I don't want to talk about all of that till it's settled, until like it's up and good. I was just responding to because they were talking about selling prints.
Oh yeah. And then you can put it on a t-shirt and walk around like a
dive into Whitebeard. I don't know. Whitebeard's such a like surface level character for me. Like he kind of just says it all.
Hi, baby puppy. My puppy is here. She's back from her long, long run in the big rain. And she's...
I haven't... Melon Tea might do that. I haven't seen it, but I think... I don't know. I want to have fun with what we do, and I think this is a good way to have it. Deep dive into Galmon. Honestly, if there's any character who I think is slept on enough that really needs it, the next character I would want to do this for is Big Mom.
Yeah, but I haven't even met that person.
You just know they exist. So it's a thing I don't want to do for a long time.
Yeah, and I would like to choose the next deep dive character.
That's fair. I think you pick the next one we do.
Yeah.
It'll have to be someone who we feel like we have enough info.
This was your special
for a
character.
long time, and I think you should pick the next one.
And I want to pick a special character now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. Big Mom would be great. We're going to see a lot of Big Mom then. That's interesting information.
The arc where we meet Big Mom, people are going to spam the mom emote, and I'm so excited for it.
It's going to be massive spam.
What if people spend the points to customize an emote over and over again to make the mom emote bigger?
Old Jim deep dive would be great too.
We gotta wait a little
Jim.
bit for an old Jim deep dive. Let me tell you, it's a while before I think we should do that. I'll tell you if you want that to be your next character. I don't know yet. I will tell you when.
No, it's not old Jim. It's old Jim.
Old Jim. Yeah, that's what I said. I said it.
Yeah, old Jim.
Yeah, deep dive into Thatch. Blackbeard already deep dove into Thatch. What?
Oh, that was rude.
What he found? The yummy no me.
Oh my god.
They say devil fruits taste bad, but Blackbeard's tasted kind of yummy.
Oh my god.
Heyo!
The worst. Yeah, this person stopped. Oh. Okay. Are we ready?
I have to go do push-ups.
Oh, you have to stop and give him 5.
We'll do the heartfelt goodbye in a second. Dog cam time.
Whoa. Thank you so much, Nakra. That's amazing. Admiral deep dives could be a good one. Deep dive into Ace. Aw, Ace. My heart is still broken. My heart is so broken for you, friend. Ew. Do you see that bed, folks? That's the bed that I bought for baby Belle.
It's all good. Just unscrewed the thing I watched stream with, chat with. Just give me a second here. Computer's okay. Don't worry about it.
Baby Ace.
There we go. We're perfect.
Beyond perfect.
I guess I've been unscrewing that bit by bit when I've been moving it around, and it fully unscrewed. That's hilarious. Hey, I'm back. I can hear you again.
I can't wait to meet Sabo. I can't wait. I am certain I'm going to meet Sabo. I am certain that he's going to be on Dragon's crew. I know it. I know it to be fact. I know it.
I don't think there's any other spoiler in the series that I am going to just give up on. I think that's the only one that I just I couldn't bring myself to pretend.
No, especially when Dragon ends up being late to the next place he's going, and then on the boat they say something like, "Oh my God, is he okay?" Or he's not okay.
If you read it quickly, I can understand not knowing he's still alive. But the way you read, I can't possibly imagine not coming to the conclusion that he's still alive. Like, I truly can't imagine.
They spell it out that he's alive.
Yeah, the level of detail you read, it just, I think, is impossible not to know. So I just couldn't pretend. I couldn't be like, well, you don't know yet.
And I can't wait to meet him.
And he was introduced right as Ace was killed, so that just immediately made me think that he was alive. But...
Jelly right away. And that's why when I talk about, not about foreshadowing, but about telescoping, some people ask me what telescoping is. And that's one of the things. You kill one brother, and then you show the other brother as being dead within the same arc, but you never show a body, no death. And immediately that's what kind of telescoping is. Like, you're kind of, you're pressing it out so you kind of know that a thing is going to happen there. Oh, Drock, are you so excited that I have 2 delete your arts worth of stuff?
Yeah. I mean, people hit me up fast in this one, and I'm kind of glad it happened because I gave up on the original composition to do this, and this is so much more sick.
It really, really is. Hey, are we allowed to announce to these people the secret thing that we've been hiding about Ash?
About what?
Ash?
Yeah, we can do that if you want.
Should we yet, though?
I don't know. Like, they don't know her is the thing, so I don't know if it means much to them is the problem. I guess it means something
because we are going to do...
through you it means something.
we're going to be doing a
We are. Stream about it.
video for it, a stream about it. Yeah, Sister Drock.
Yeah. I guess we could say it. So my sister is pregnant with twins, and she's going to be coming on at some point to do a stream where you guys are going to do a challenge where you are going to guide me and tell me what to do to design a mural that I'm going to make a stencil for and paint on her kid's bedroom wall. And that is a stream we're going to do in the future. This was her idea, by the way. I didn't come up with this. I wasn't like, hey, I want to turn your children into content. It was her plan.
And she's thinking of doing legitimately, and she found a rug for it today, dinosaurs in space.
Dinosaurs in space, she's thinking is the theme that we're going to do for this mural.
And so Drock's wife has been telling me to hold off my delete your art so that I can use them for Ash.
If it starts to go out of hand.
Yeah, and we're like, and if she says, I don't want that, I can use delete her art. And be like, nope, that one's gone. She doesn't like it. Yeah.
All right.
And also, people, this is really good news because, otherwise I would be killed off. But once you're a grandma, you get to live.
That's true. You get to survive One Piece because you're a grandma, and now it's just your daughter that's in danger.
No, my daughter isn't in danger. Don't say that. Are you a crazy person?
I don't.
Such strong hype train.
Before we go, I also want to say there's a type of stream I used to do before Mom Piece kind of became the thing that I'm going to be bringing back now that we have a bit of a fan base. I think it'll be cool. Go into the Discord and go to pitch your character. If you've played a character in a TTRPG, it has to be a character that's played for a decent amount of time, because the exchange is I draw people free art of their character, and in exchange they have an interview where they talk about their campaign and tell the story of what's happened so far. The reason I stopped doing it was I ran out of applications from people who had actually played long enough for there to be anything to talk about. It was all just concepts, not characters that had done anything. And I want to talk about the story of campaigns you've run in a tabletop RPG. I'm going to be doing these again soon. So if you have a character from a longish running tabletop game, go in the Discord, go to the pitch your character, and I'm going to start doing those again in the future.
So awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to be Grandma Drock.
No.
I'm Drock's mom, so we're staying Mama Drock.
Because the channel is me. I'm the channel name.
Yeah, and people inside of my classroom were like, one kid, when he found out, said, holy crap. And then he said my name. I just watched what happens when somebody becomes a grandma. He says, one time, my grandma wasn't a grandma. That's wild.
Necrosis Angel, if you want something with less rules, don't play D&D. Play a rules-light game like Fate. And if you're worried about being shy, that's normal. It's normal to be worried. Pushing yourself is good when you're comfortable with it. When you feel like you have people, play a game. But don't do D&D if you want something rules light. I genuinely think one of the biggest mistakes tabletop gamers do is trying to make D&D into games it isn't, instead of playing another fucking game that's built to do what they want to do. It's insane. I think it's mental sickness. It is mental sickness that everyone keeps trying to turn D&D into a different game instead of just playing a different game. It's the equivalent of if the only game you ever played was Skyrim, and whenever you want new gaming experience, you just modded Skyrim until it was the genre of game you want to play. That's mental sickness. The other games exist. Genuinely.
Yeah, but I just think people don't know about what the other games are. They wouldn't know where to look, and they wouldn't know how to find them. So that's the thing that you should actually do.
But I think the cult, and I've done streams about that back in the day, but I'll do it again now that we have more of a fan base for sure. Yeah. But I genuinely think, like, the culture being that the assumption is if I want to play a mech game, I need to figure out how to make D&D into a mech game instead of playing one of the really great mech games is absolutely bonkers. Look, that's so Haven, you can mod Skyrim, but it doesn't mean that it should be the only game you play. You should play other games.
But keep in mind that for real, people wouldn't even know how to find out the information that you're talking about.
Totally. But I think people would if there was more of a culture around other games existing. Whereas right now, people's assumption, people's course of action when they want to play a different genre is to Google expansions for 5e that change it to what they want. And I think you will have a better time if instead of doing that, you and your group who want to play a different genre, play a game in that genre.
Yeah. All right, you with the face.
Yeah.
It's time to put your stamp on there, so that
creator, kill it.
We can let
I
let
do
the good
put on a
people
stamp.
of the universe.
This one kicks ass. I really like this drawing.
Mama drop a D&D character on stream. You know what? That is what you should do, is you should start, if you want to go back into the thing, by making me a D&D character.
Oh, that could be fun. Doing a design thing. I have wanted to do
Not
another
the one that I
family
had.
game. So yeah, no, I think that could be fun.
Not the one that I had when we played together, and I want to play another D&D now. Because I'm not interested in that one.
Yeah, no, I think we should do a new thing when we play.
Yeah, I agree. Cricket is sending me chats.
Cricket is sending you chats?
Yeah.
What about? Not a One Piece themed, like a regular old fantasy character. I also want to do that Warhammer stream at some point, but I think I might have to wait until I'm doing an extra stream per week, which isn't going to be until the end of the semester.
They have a type of Luffy they want me to look for.
A type of Luffy?
I don't know what to tell you. It's a type of Luffy. And they want me to tell them when I see it and show them.
Interesting.
What class would I be? Druid? You know what? I love a druid.
You are a druid fan.
But I don't know if you saw in the last piece, I do love a monk.
You did say you love a monk.
Yeah.
How is this working?
And he also said, I heard that Drock outed me for liking Doc Q.
I did.
And then he says, listen, he's cute because he likes horses.
Yeah.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's the line?
That's fantastic. They're collecting, where you see the maps when they're zoomed out? Like in Annie's lobby and stuff, there's a little thing with Team Luffy, and then there's a little map Luffy icon. They're collecting them.
I have.
And since I read. What?
Sorry, you go, and then I'm going to say what I was going to say.
And then because I read deeply, they're like, good. Every time you see these, collect them for me.
I have seen Tekking's One Piece D&D thing, and I genuinely think 5e is one of the worst game systems for getting across the tone of One Piece, because the idea of limited combat resources and spell slots feels so against One Piece. Like, I
want to know, people, what do you think I would be? Because a bunch of different people have said a bunch of different things. What do you think I would be as a? Maybe I'll let people build me a
I think in D&D terms, it's hard to find something exactly right. I think in Pathfinder, you'd be an investigator.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think investigator and Pathfinder.
I think it would be fun if we did it live and that people helped to build my character.
Divination Wizard.
I was a wizard. That was my number one favorite thing I ever played, but that was in WoW.
Divination wizards predict things. That's their whole shtick.
Oh, I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Historian Bard, I'd love that too. Mm-hmm. A tiefling monk. Oh, yeah, we should let people pick my character and draw it and build it.
That sounds fun. All right.
And I'm going to save one of my delete your arts for it.
God. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for being here. Oh, God, I got something in my eye in the middle trying to be nice. Oh, no, it's in my eye. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I feel like I'm pulling off this outfit in a major way. This feels weirdly natural. This feels good in a way that it shouldn't. Guys, thank you so much for being here. I have looked forward to this one for so long. Since before Mama even reached Blackbeard being mentioned, I was like, when we reach the halfway point, we're doing a video on my second favorite character, just so you know. And I've been thinking about this genuinely since then. And it's been so fun to talk about because I think this is a character that people read so wrong. And it's so fun to just get to go over what makes Blackbeard such a threat in the world and why I think he's the perfect villain for One Piece, because he represents all of the terrifying things about Luffy with none of the heart and soul that makes Luffy the great character he is.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that you got to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, this has been something you've been looking forward to, and I have really enjoyed hearing your great love for Blackbeard.
My great love for a terrible man.
3:40 a.m. You need to have good sleepies, Necros Angel. I love all these things people are saying.
Do you want to say a goodbye?
Yeah. Here I go.
Hi, Suten. That sounds great. Go for it. Say your goodbyes.
Thank you, everyone, for being here with us today. I hope wherever you are in the world that you have the most wonderful sleep, the most wonderful night, the most wonderful day tomorrow, and that all your dreams come true and the people you love and yourself are safe and happy. Thanks for being a part of our little community.
Okay. Everybody?
It's your turn.
I'm sending y'all on a raid. They're watching One Piece. We're talking One Piece. It's just synergy. It just makes sense. Everybody, I love doing this show. I have had such a blast and getting to reach the point where I finally get to make the One Piece content I've wanted to make this whole time, on top of it being better than I could have imagined because my mom is here adding so much deep analysis. This is a dream. Like, this is the content I've wanted to make forever, but better. And that just makes my day. I'm so happy to do this. Until next time, everybody, it's been truly lovely talking to you. Bye!
Bye, everyone. Here we go. For full time.